Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels! We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons!
Woohoo!
Yay! I'm Christiana Ellis, the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric, the Dwarven Fighter.
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu, the High Elf Cleric.
Greetings and salutations.
Chooch Schubert as Ottercree, the Tiefling Paladin.
Hello.
And alas, once again, we are missing our Viv as Amethyst, the human druid, which, we all hope she's going to feel better soon. But we'll deal with Amethyst in a moment. But first, let's recap last time.
Ominous.
Yes, I have plans. Wheels within wheels. Let's talk about what happened last time. Last time, so recently, you guys, in an attempt to escape the pursuit of certain archfey who would like to steal the stolen moment, this powerful magical artifact from you, you and your wizard friend Melicanth teleported halfway across the world and are now using non-detection spells to cover your tracks while you wait for some non-detection charms to be made for you by Carrot, a dragonborn enchanter that Melicanth knows. And while you wait, the son of this particular enchanter, named Doke, decided to show you around the local city named Ushbithra. And you met some colorful characters at the bazaar. You saw the park, which featured an enormous stone giant statue. You met, former partners, now rival armorers. You found an adventurer bar, and Archie made a new friend with the bartender, Modesty. And you also got into a little bit of a complicated situation where Amethyst gave a gold to one of the beggars on the street, and now you were being pursued all over the place by more and more, hoping for similar generosity. And along the way, you met another high elf named Terillin, who beseeched Nira to help a fellow high elf recover his dignity in the form of his wares that had been stolen. It was a fairly shady situation that was never completely resolved to Nira's satisfaction. But at the end, he had what he said were his goods back, and no one really got hurt, so call it a win?
I have so many regrets.
Some hard life lessons for them and for us.
And so you also briefly met some of Doke's friends. Alaric had his fortune read by one of them. And then you kind of started making your way back towards Carrot and Stick, which is the enchanter shop, because you need to get your non-detection spells refreshed a couple more times before your charms will be ready. And so that's about where we'll pick up. But on the way back, which is it's about a 10-minute walk from the outskirts of the city, you guys have noticed throughout your little outing that Amethyst seemed a bit distracted. She was present. If you said her name, she would look at you and answer the question or whatever, but otherwise kind of seemed to be lost in her own head. And then as you're on your way back, she's kind of trailing behind, and then you hear her just say, just a moment, and you all turn around and see her standing with a tall, lithe, approximately elven-looking, but kind of wild in a way, like looking more like a wood elf than a high elf, but there's just an aura about him that's a little hard to pin down, and he's wearing all sorts of hunting leathers, and it's just very striking, figure, and he's just standing next to her, and Amethyst, looking a little bit spacey, like she's not dazed, but she's still kind of lost in her head, like she doesn't even see him there, but she is talking to you guys and says, I have just been made, an offer has been made that I think I need to find out more. So I guess I'll be back. And then she disappears along with this other figure.
What?
Okay.
Well, I'd say that was strange, but I mean, it's Tuesday, so, you know.
Doak raises his hand and says, I'll say it's strange. Who was that? Do you know? Who was that?
It did not look familiar.
Maybe one of the druid types. They seem to come and go.
Elven, what I would Nira be able to make the leap that it was a fae?
Well, because you had previously, with a history or lore, you had previously, I think, recognized the history that the one of the powerful archfey is the Lord of the Hunt. Maybe it was Andri, actually.
Right.
Someone told you that the Lord of the Hunt was this this powerful fae, and Amethyst had previously told you that she dreamed about him.
Right.
And so it would be reasonable that that's a likely candidate for who this guy was, but you don't know for sure.
Well, that's not at all ominous.
She didn't seem to be too worried about it.
Well, she didn't really seem herself either, but I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do, and we have to get back.
It's not like we haven't had our own time where we're just simply taken. At least this time it seems like she had a choice, an offer of some kind.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to hear what she has to say when she comes back.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
She'll be back.
Doak kind of is like, does this sort of thing happen to you guys a lot?
Well,
A lot is a relative term.
Yeah.
It happened before.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess if you're not worried, I won't be.
well, I mean, we literally can do nothing here, so I don't know that there's a whole lot that we should worry about. Like, there would be no point.
Although that's a little worrisome. You know, the whole not really having much choice about it in general. Like when what was it, the queen that we saw before?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not a whole lot we can do here. Just kind of roll with it.
She'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Mostly. A bit.
So, with little else to do on the subject, you go ahead and continue on your way back to the shop, and you still see the magical doorway from Melicanth's mansion spell is still there in the area. And as you approach, she emerges from it and just says, "Ah, good, you've returned. I thought I might have to contact you to remind you that Where's Amethyst?"
That's a good question.
She got an offer that she felt she should take up a look. She'll be fine. I'm pretty sure that wherever she is,
An
she'll be
offer,
fine.
but we have to cast the spell, or else we'll be discovered.
There's literally nothing we can do right now
Pretty
about
sure.
Amethyst.
Where is she?
We get the impression she left the plane.
Yeah, probably.
She had an escort.
Teleport.
Faye are involved.
Non-detection
from-
spell should have prevented them from finding us.
Are you familiar with the Lord of the Hunt?
He's one of the most powerful Fae in the Feywild.
Was
He's
it
the
that one?
consort of Queen Hieratimus.
Was it that one that had the blood and therefore there was nowhere to hide, or was that another one?
No, that was the other one.
Oh,
but
Hard to keep them straight, really,
the
Indeed.
Twilight Court queen, I think.
The Queen Hieronymus is the queen of the Twilight Court, and Queen Solomonia is the queen of the Dawn Court.
Right, that's the one we met before, I think.
Yes, well,
It's getting hard to keep track.
Meet them, I would suggest you not make light of the differences between them. They take it very personally, but between you and I, yes, they are difficult to keep straight. But it was the Lord of the Hunt?
That would be my guess. He had spoken to Amethyst before in a dream that she told us about.
Did she choose to go with him voluntarily?
It did sound like a choice.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, I think so.
I think that might be the only way. The non-detection spell should have prevented him from locating any of you. But it does not necessarily stop him from communicating with her. And if she were to accept his offer, he could bring her to him.
Yeah, it sounds like it works to me.
Well, if anything, I suppose it's a relief to know that they have not found a way to penetrate the non-detection spell. On that note, have any of you received any communications from Zoreth?
No, not that I recall.
Not me.
Good.
I mean, unless he speaks through bad beer, then I received a lot of communications.
I will let you know that I received a message spell from him. It was more or less to gloat that he has us on the run.
In the house, even? I thought that was supposed to be special.
I was not in the house at the time, but this particular spell is capable of transmitting across planes with some chance of failure, but in any event, if he attempts to contact you, understand that he is not able to find you, only call you, so to speak. But I would urge you not to say anything back, as he may be able to use it for clues to discover our location.
Good tip.
So he doesn't have any clue where we are, but...
Did he say anything else?
Nothing of substance. I could attempt to paraphrase his words, but it was not a long speech full of detail so much as a ha ha, made you run, I'll see you soon, that sort of thing.
Waiting.
I have no doubt that he is making every effort to find us, and we do not have a full understanding of the nature of his powers yet. But if he chose that method to communicate rather than appearing, it may well be that he also is stymied by the non-detection spell.
Well, that would be some good news.
Yeah.
And both of these charms are just as powerful.
The function is different, but the results should be the same. Rather than simply blocking the spell, it should create a sort of mental feedback loop that anyone attempting to view us remotely will essentially have their own sight reflected back upon them. They will see their own location rather than ours.
I understood a few words in there, enough to make sense of it, so sounds good to me.
That is the theory, anyway. I'm dropping things. So, there's a question of timing. I don't know what your intent is as far as carrying out this delivery for Carrot, but she says that she plans to work on the charms through the night and will have them ready by dawn.
All right.
Right now, we have approximately 2 hours remaining on the non-detection spell that I cast already. Dawn is approximately 12 hours away.
Oh, I remember these problems. So if there's a wagon heading north and a wagon heading south,
One's carrying rocks.
and the other one's got some sort of potatoes on it, when do you get mashed potatoes?
So they can't track us in the mansion, right? They can't find us?
Well, they should not be able to find us now, at any rate. But if you are saying allowing the non-detection spell to lapse, I would feel more comfortable. Even though it is a drain on my resources, I would feel more comfortable maintaining the spell regardless.
And
Yeah,
it's up to you if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Safest. Better to have 2 blankets against the cold instead of 1.
Well, in the interest of safest, I will refresh the spell on you now, and will do so again when the time comes overnight.
All right, let her in.
And she prepares some gems, crushing them into powder, apparently just with her hands. You suspect a magical effect there rather than physical strength, but as she sprinkles it over you, you feel once again the similar sort of magical aura over you. And she says, "We just have to hope that wherever the Lord of the Hunt has taken Amethyst, that it will not be an issue there. But I would suspect the Fae have their own means of disguise."
And places beyond where anyone can look anyway.
Indeed. So, and she, at this point, she kind of just looks over to Doak, who's kind of still awkwardly standing there. The plan then is that you are all going to see the stone giants? Is this your intent to go tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
think
He's
so,
our,
yeah.
he's our
He's their
guide.
guide. Best as it can be.
Doak says it's about a 6-hour walk to where the stone giants, have their plateau. So, I don't... If we need to wait until dawn for the charms anyway, do we want to be ready to leave then?
I think so. That would be my preference.
Yeah.
After breakfast.
Oh, well.
Sure. Yeah. So I know that my moms have got to be making dinner, and they did invite you all to stay. I know you got whatever that is, and he points to the doorway. But if any of you want to stay with us, I don't know what you guys are used to. We don't have like a bunch of fancy bedrooms with feather beds for you, but you're welcome to it. Warm.
That's
might just-
generous.
Might just
Don't
take
do
you
it
up
together
on that.
would be excellent.
Not sure if that's necessarily the safest, and we wouldn't want to put you out.
And he says, "Oh, well, no, I mean, don't worry about that. I mean, we're, happy to have, guests. I don't want to presume on any of you just because I don't know what you guys are used to, but just the offer is open." And I think Melicanth at that point says, "Well, thank you. I will stay in my mansion, I believe. I have some additional study that I want to do, but you all should have dinner. You should, yes. Yes, you go have dinner, and then we have the bedrooms in the mansion, of course, and you are free to enter it whenever you like. And
Are you all right?
yes, I'm just distracted, and being here has brought back some old memories." And Doak says, "Well, you should share some of the good ones with us. You should come have dinner."
He's got a point. If you only just let the memories that come back to you be the ones you remember, and all kinds of weird stuff can come up. But if you go after them, you go and seize the good ones, bring them up and share them with friends and allies, Well, that's your choice. It turns into your good time.
Perhaps you're right.
Happens twice a day.
Dinner then. Shall we inquire inside? And Doak says, "Sure, come on. I bet you that she's making the spice loaf."
Sounds hot.
As you guys re-enter the shop, you do realize, like both of the times that you've been in there, you go in the front door and it has seemed to be sort of like a cottage inside, rather than like a shop front. But Doak kind of points out an enchantment along the doorway and says, "It knows whether you're coming in as customers or guests." So you would you'd enter on the other side of the shop if you were looking to buy.
Wow.
That's pretty nifty.
Well, my moms are enchanters.
Yeah.
But you enter in and it's kind of just this little homey kitchen, and you don't see Carrot, but Stick is in the kitchen, kind of fussing with some preparatory work. She's chopping some vegetables, and she says, "Ah, good. I had worried you might not be back in the perfect time for readiness, but looks like it worked out."
Glad it did. It smells amazing.
Did you have a good time visiting the city?
Some of us had a better time than others. Kind of elbow Archie.
Very, very refreshing.
There's a lot of folks there that need a lot of help. I noticed that, sadly. And other people find their help, I suppose. Luke was an interesting guy.
Yes, well, he's a good boy most of the time. She kind of winks at him. He's like, "Mom, I'm gonna be an adventurer with them. I'm not just a boy." She kind of just says, "Yes, well, we'll see. You are adventurer tomorrow. Today you are still my son." She is preparing. You guys have seen, like meatloafs before, but this is kind of an unusual. It's more bready than a standard meatloaf, and it has all sorts of other things in it, and it does seem to be fairly heavily spiced. Not spicy like hot, but just very powerful flavor to it. And it's sort of just like a fruit cake, only savory.
Wow.
And
Is this enchanted too? Is that how that gets made?
Well, no, but it is certainly an ancient recipe that many would kill to obtain. And
Wow.
Doak just says, kind of just shakes his head. But as it is, finishing, Stick goes around into the back room, and you guys very sort of quietly in the distance are able to just make out and the gist of not an argument, but a Stick insisting that if the charms are ready 1 hour later because Carrot had dinner, that would be okay. And and basically just insisting, and eventually succeeding, and the two of them come back, and there's basically just sort of a low table that you all sort of sit cross-legged around, and it's no cutlery, it's eating with your hands sort of thing, where you're pulling off hunks of this loaf, and she offers wine if you want it.
I'm
Why?
game.
I'll definitely give something to get that earlier beer out of my taste. Although the spice loaf's definitely doing a good job of it. Oh, I think I got some extra. Excuse me.
It's very exotic in flavor. Like it's not it's definitely a combination you've not had before.
Well, my compliments to the chef.
And Stick just says, "Ah, yes, well, thank you. I will accept these compliments. It is a recipe of my mother's, passed down. It's simple, it's filling, it's good." And at this point, I think we don't necessarily need to role play the whole evening, but Doak does press Melicanth to, it's like, what, tell me a story I don't know about my grandfather. And she kind of ponders it a little bit, and kind of gets a wistful smile, and just says, "There was a bird. He spent a year with this enormous flightless bird at making it his mount. It was a long-necked, long-legged, flightless bird. It was big enough to carry him, and he had a way with animals, as I'm sure you know. The rest of you, Rake was a ranger, and he could track, through any terrain. He had a real way with animals. Amethyst, I'm sure, would bond with him on that matter. And we found out in the prairies that this bird that he just had a liking to. He said he understood it in a way that he never could with mammals, and he tamed it and he made it his mount, and he rode around with it for a year. It was slower than the horses over distance, and he insisted that it was still going to pay off as a useful addition to our party at some point, despite it slowing our progress over distances. And it cost him so much money convincing various stable owners to try to care for this thing, and it was so mean. It loved him, but it would bite or scratch or tear anybody else. And I don't think that it ever delivered any sort of triumphant moment that he was looking for, but he loved it, and I just remember him in his characteristic way. He was not big on expressing emotion. You had to know him to understand how he was feeling. But there did come a time where, just out of necessity, we had to leave our mounts behind, and he took this bird out to release it, and I swear he stared into this bird's eyes. I don't even know how its eyes were on both sides of its head. But he stared at it, and I would swear he was bidding farewell to a lover he had known for decades. The way that he... Oh gosh, it seems sad now, but he loved that bird. And I don't know that he ever had another mount that he loved quite as much. He did have a way with the Quall's Feather Token. I think you saw that. That's a whole different thing, but he just was always a little different. He never wanted to do things in the way that other people did them.
You say flightless bird, like a big chicken?
That's what I was thinking.
Longer legs, longer neck. I've never really come across it anywhere but that particular region. It was far to the south of here, not quite so far as the desert, but there's the savannah down there. And Carrot listened to this whole thing, and then she just kind of says, you know, he tried to breed those things when he came back. When he came back here, he went down and he found a bunch of them. He tried to start his own herd, and never quite took, because like you said, those suckers were mean as hell, and no one else was ever able to do anything with them. And eventually they broke free of the corral and just ran out loose. So there's probably a whole herd or flock or whatever you want to call them of them out there somewhere in the plains.
Wouldn't that be something to see? It's kind of terrifying, actually.
Well, I thought
Whole
so.
birds.
I was just a little girl when that happened, but yeah, I never cared for them myself. But you know, you're not wrong. He loved them.
That's a heck of a guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy. And Melkanth just kind of nods and just says, "Yes, those were simpler days." Of course, it all seemed just as important at the time. You know, fate of the world always seems like it's in the balance. And somehow the stakes get bigger, but they always feel important.
Big stakes.
To simpler times.
So, I think, you know, you guys all make chit chat over the course of the evening, and then as they clear the dinner away, it becomes apparent that Doak and his family, that when he said that they didn't have like separate rooms and everything, literally they all just sleep in a pile.
Oh, well. I snore, so that's not going to work.
They,
I think I'm gonna stay in the house.
Yeah, we got plenty of rooms next door, and you all look very comfortable. And I'm probably going to shake the rafters if I stay in here, so.
Yeah, I'm Nira's gonna stay here. She's not going. Not going.
Melicanth just kind of sort of smiles and just says, "I'm glad you talked me into dinner, but I do believe that I will withdraw back to the mansion now."
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Good night,
so-
all. See you in the morning.
Are all of you staying in the house then? Or
I am.
Yeah.
Wait.
to you guys?
I already
So-
lied about snoring. I got to get out of here before they prove me wrong.
All right, so Lark's going to the mansion, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna stay with the Dragonborn family because yeah, something different.
Yeah, so they do have kind of like a big sort of like a big futon that they sort of unfold out. They slide the dinner table out of the way and unfold it, and then they all kind of just go in a pile, and there's room kind of to be a little bit off to the side on the cushion if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, they don't seem shy about personal space.
New experiences, right? We need to bond with my new teammate.
He is impressed with you. He's kind of like, yeah, see, like he's showing off that he does cool stuff too. Like this is he's getting to show you the authentic Western lifestyle, that sort of thing. Yeah. So what about you, Archie? Were you staying in the house as well, or?
I'll head back to the mansion.
Okay. All right. So Alaric and Archie, then, as you had once before back in Gorn, you guys have your own rooms that she has essentially created in this mansion. That they're very luxurious and comfortable. And she says, and there are many unseen servants, so if you should need anything, you can ask them. Otherwise, I will be by at the proper time overnight in order to refresh your spell.
How do I mean, If they're unseen, how do I know they're here? How do I know they're not here?
Well, the mansion is capable of generating 100 of them. If you call for one, I'm sure it will provide.
All right. That's going to take some getting used to. I don't really. I mean, things I can't see are a little bit bothersome. If I just tell them to go away, will they all just go away? Can I know they're gone?
Well, they are kind of summoned into existence when you call them, and otherwise they disappear.
Okay, so they're not just wandering around in here somewhere.
Yes, I myself have gotten used to it, and as a result, as much as I have great affection for Carrot and Stick and Doke, I like my own bed.
Was
Well,
Rake like that too?
Rake, he was very taciturn in his demeanor. Like as I said, he did not demonstrate emotion in the way that most of us do, but he felt deeply when you got to know him, and he was always kind and welcoming, even if he would appear stern to someone who didn't know any better.
Probably slept with the birds instead.
He did sleep with that bird on more than one occasion.
Yeah, it's probably warm enough. Anyway, you need your rest. We need ours. Morning comes at certain. There's no windows here, is there?
No,
Oh,
because technically the mansion is not present in the material plane, so it's
you
the.
you have control over what this place is like, though, right?
Yes, I mean I could create windows, but they would not see
No, no,
into the material plane.
not windows. It's been a while since I've really heard the sounds of home. I don't suppose you can make a dwarven hour chime.
A dwarven hour chime.
It makes a pretty loud banging noise about once an hour, and then you can set it so it will crash loudly
Yes,
when you wake up.
Well, I suppose I don't know if I'll be able to create quite what you're looking for, but if you want something to make a noise once per hour, that is easily arranged.
Do me nicely, because I spent a lot of time when I couldn't trust any noise and tried to make as little as possible, and I kind of realized I've missed that. So, if it's not too much trouble, you could manage that, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly. I will have, and, is there some specific noise you would prefer?
No, simple is better. Rock sounds is about the best.
Right.
Like a heartbeat, only made of stone.
How about this? And she kind of goes to your room, and near one of the near the door there's a little bit of a sort of an end table sort of thing, and she waves her hand in there like just a little stone bust of some elf or another. You don't recognize the figure or anything, but it sort of appears on the table, and she says, "Once an hour, I'll have one of the unseen servants do this," and just kind of lifts it and then kind of thunks it back onto the table.
Yeah, that'll work.
It'll be done,
Thank you.
of course.
Sleep well.
Well, I don't, but I will rest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Rest then.
To be fair, I'm used to it, but I have always thought it strange that all non-elven species go unconscious for a third of every day. It seems very inconvenient.
I didn't sleep more than 2 hours at a time for 4 years. That's inconvenient. This'll be fine.
Indeed. Well, rest well then. And
You too.
she checks in on you, Archie. Says, "Did you need anything?"
I am great. Thank you. Thank you for the port in the storm, so to speak.
Of course, we're all in this together now. So Nira, the Dragonborn don't snore exactly, but they do hiss. They every so often they'll take kind of a one of them will take sort of a deep sort of shuddering inhale and then just go.
Okay.
Yeah. The first couple of times, it kind of is unusual enough that you kind of blink. Well, you're not sleeping either, not fully anyway. But as you're meditating, you're doing your meditation. You kind of notice and maybe like open one eye, just kind of like what's happening? Oh, right, okay. So it's not too much of a disturbance, but yeah. But in any case, did any of you have anything else that you wanted to do before we move to next morning?
No, I was just kind of I was arranging spells.
Yeah, I should do that.
So I have one called Meld into Stone, which, given where we're going, sounds like it might be useful. I could be wrong.
As a spot, yeah.
Oh, one thing I'll clarify too is that Carrot is in fact working overnight on the charms. I did not mean to imply that she is also going to bed, but yeah, she is working on the charms. All right. So you can still kind of choose do choose your spells. You who do so, and we'll go ahead and say that you are each briefly awakened or contacted as Melicanth does as promised, which is to do one last non-detection on you. But then as dawn comes, you come awake. Melicanth has to shoo Alaric and Archie out of the mansion so that she can let the spell drop. And breakfast. There's leftover spice loaf, but also just a variety of just sort of fruits, some familiar and some a little bit unusual, but nothing too dramatic. And
It's been a while since we've had a long rest, hasn't it? That's that. Look at that.
well, just before the demon fight, before you teleported.
Yeah.
Carrot does around dawn, maybe an hour or so after, kind of comes rubbing her eyes a little bit back out, bearing 5 little bracelets that show a sort of so it's flat but fist-sized, about this big, a few inches in diameter, on a leather strap that's designed to go around your forearm. And she has 5 of them, which I believe was the amount that we had said you guys were making. Am I misremembering?
That's right.
Because it was going to be for Alaric, Nira, Archie, Amethyst, and Melicanth. I think maybe you said you were going to have. It was 7 because it was going to be one for Andri and one for Mugen if you ever found him. So she did make all of those. Doak, the assumption is that he doesn't need one because nobody's looking for him.
All right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So she has them, and she offers them up for Melicanth's inspection, and she says, "Well, let's try it out. Who wants to be first?"
I will.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. So she offers one of these to you, Archie, and it just kind of slides around your forearm and has the an adjustable leather strap that's fairly basic. And as you put it on, Melicanth says, I'm now going to attempt to locate you with a divination spell. And she makes a few arcane gestures and whispers under her breath, and then just kind of starts back and just says, "Oh, well, that's That's a useful side effect, I suppose.
Did it work?
Yes,
Oh, the flail, the reflection.
yes, it
Oh, that thing. Oh, yeah, that
created
thing.
a bit
That
of
snail. Oh,
feedback. Oh, it's a bit of a
yeah.
headache. It's rather unpleasant for anyone who might attempt. But it does seem to be effective. The spell just reflected right back to me. And Carrot says, "Well, that's good. I'm going to go to bed now." And then she kind of
Thank
just
you.
walks over to the little futon and sort of just plops down on it.
Thank you, Garrett.
In the meantime, while you guys were doing that, Stick was working with Doke, and then he comes out. You see that he's kind of got all his, his kit on. He's not wearing armor because he's not trained in armor. But he's wearing kind of a fancier robe, and I have to remind myself what gear they gave him. He does seem to have a handful of fancy things that, given that his moms want him to be safe and they have a lot of stuff at their disposal, they have given him and he's proudly showing them off. So he has an amulet of health, which raises his Constitution score. Oh, you know what? This is I said he wasn't wearing armor. He is actually wearing elven chain, which is enchanted to essentially be. You can wear it even if you don't normally have the proficiency for it.
Nice.
He has a periapt of wound closure, which is essentially just going to keep him from. It automatically stabilizes him if he's knocked unconscious. And then he has a wand of binding, which he says lets him cast hold person or hold monster. And then he also shows off that he has a couple of other cool things, like a rope of climbing and a deck of illusions.
Well, looks like your moms took care of you. We'll take care of him too, moms.
And Stick kind of looks at all of you and just kind of says, "I will repeat what I said yesterday. If it is dangerous, you turn around, you bring him back." And Doke rolls his eyes. It's just, "Mom, of course it's going to be dangerous, but I can handle myself. We'll do it." And she looks at all of you and just gives you the warning finger. Then Doke says, "Well, I guess we need the rod, right?" And he goes and goes around into the back room, and then comes back around, lugging this thing. So it's a cylinder shape, but it's about 5 feet long. It's about maybe 8 inches in diameter. And he's sort of struggling to carry it. I'm going to tell you guys that it weighs about 60 pounds.
I'll help him carry.
Well, he's saying, like, someone's going to have to carry this because it's not going to fit in your bag of holding. But check this out. And he kind of lunges it awkwardly and presses this big button on the center of it, and then lets it go, and it just stays locked in the place where it was when he pressed the button. And he says, "Check it out." And he just, like, hops up and he sits on it.
Give it a
pretty
little
neat.
push just to prove that it's not actually moving anymore.
Yeah, it does not move at all.
No. That's neat. Yeah. Think of all kinds of ways this could be useful. You know what they wanted it for?
I'm not specifically sure, but they do, a lot of their culture is based on their carving and their sculpting. And so maybe it's intended to hold something up in a specific location in a big empty space where it would not be able to be supported by anything else.
Be interested to find out.
Tell them we just hit this button, right? And it falls over, so I hit the button.
And it drops to the floor, and Doke, who was still sitting on it, drops, like, oof.
Ah,
Yeah.
good. You're quick on your feet.
Yeah. Ah.
I pick it up.
All right. Yeah. So it's what I'm going to say is whoever is carrying it, it's not so heavy that you can't manage. You guys are physically fit individuals, but what I will say is that whoever's carrying it is going to have a -2 to dexterity checks and saving throws while they carry it.
So we'll just take turns with it then? Doesn't take two people to carry it?
No, not necessarily. I'll say that if two people are carrying it, yeah, I don't know. I'm two people carrying it together could make sense in some contexts, but obviously you would have your own difficulty with dexterity checks in that regard, right?
Right.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking like if we're, I mean, we're going into the mountains, so I'm just assuming like when we have to go up, it's just going to be easier for two to carry it.
Yeah. So I mean, certainly, yeah, you can. There's no reason not to.
Could we like tie a sling on it or something, make it easier just to strap onto somebody's back?
Well, yeah, Doak says, well, we could kind of just when he gets like just this sort of a leather sort of satchel. We could kind of just have it sticking half out of that, have that around somebody's back.
There you go. Easier to hand off too.
Yeah.
And then he kind of is just gonna say, if you guys don't mind, I'll let one of you guys do that.
Or yeah. I can
Hey,
carry
you'll
it.
grow up to be a bigger dragonborn someday, but for today, sure. Although
Well,
carrying this will make you a lot stronger. By the
You know,
time we're done.
I know my strengths, and I'm gonna be a big asset to you guys. But
Of course.
carrying heavy stuff is not where I shine.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's okay. We got this. We're the ones that agreed
Yeah.
to take it, so.
That's one area I shine. I'll carry it.
You sure?
Yeah. I'm good.
I mean, it's gonna make it a little awkward for you if you have to jump out of the way of some things, and I know that's not really the strong suit for you.
Well, we'll trade
That's
off.
what the
We'll take
armor's
turns.
for.
That's true. Oh yeah, you did get that shiny new stuff. All right. Shall we before
Well,
we burn?
you don't have the new armor yet. You ordered
Right.
it.
Oh yeah.
But mine's shined up. So.
He's got a
Yeah,
kind of
it is-
glow
yeah,
to
it
him
is.
today. It's
Yeah.
hard to say
It's
exactly
polished
why.
up. It
Maybe.
looks nicer.
He just seems a little lighter on his feet and a little sturdier today for some reason.
Oh, very true.
All right. So, with that, you each don your non-detection charm, and Doak is kind of out front. Looks like he's excited. He's got his own kind of pack on, and he says, "All right, let's get on the road."
Wait, before we get going, just make sure you say a proper farewell to your moms. Might be a little while before we make it back, and I'm sure it would reassure them to make it better for them.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense. And he kind of says, "Like, you guys can wait over there.
Oh yeah,
I'll be along here just a second." And yeah, so he goes to say goodbye to his moms, and he comes back over, and he's you get the sense that was a little bit more emotional than he was expecting, and so, but he's like, "All right, we're good, we're good
Pop
to
him on
go.
the shoulder.
Let's
Let's
do this.
go.
Yeah,
Which way?
So,
this way." And he starts leading you in kind of a southwestern direction. You're not really initially on a road, but after about 15 to 20 minutes, you join a road that's it's not paved, but it's clearly well traveled. And it just says, "Yep, we're basically just gonna follow this all the way there."
sounds easy enough.
All right. I'll say you guys are leaving at about 7 a.m. And so you'll arrive at about 1 p.m.
Did we pack any kind of provisions just in case? Because it is like a 6 hour walk there and then a 6 hour walk back, which means at least 1 day of food.
Yeah. Well, what did you pack?
Did they have any leftover that's spice though?
Yeah, there was some.
I've got traveling rations if it comes to that.
I'm out of mushrooms.
Oh darn!
Hey, there might be some mountain mushrooms. I could try those.
And,
Doesn't kill you. It makes you have hallucinogen visions. It's great.
Doak says, yeah, my grandfather tried to teach me all that stuff, but I swear it just could not stay in my head. I don't have the knack for it.
I kind of needed to for a while, so I've kind of been able to figure it out. And those that, again, I didn't figure out, I just set those aside for later times.
So, what do you guys do to pass the time as you're walking?
Oh, I have plenty of stories from books that I've read that I could start recounting, like I did that time. I think that we were back in Villanocta and I was telling them.
I might have some wax, cotton, or something else I can shove in my ears.
I'll tell them all old elven legends.
I don't know.
I really hope you don't want me to actually make those up on the fly because I don't. I am no bard.
That's all right.
No, I think I've heard that one. Isn't that a song? Go ahead, sing a couple of lines
Make
of
a
that one.
performance check, though.
Nice.
Well, let's see. I have to click back on my thingy. Performance +3, so 14. Yeah.
You, a couple of you find you are more interested in this story than you might have expected. She actually tells it well, and it's a good selection of story. Yeah.
It's a good yarn. That would almost get you a beer.
Yeah. So what you don't have to tell the story, but generally speaking, what was it about?
I will tell the tale of a outcast from my tribe who was half elven, and decided to journey into the world to prove herself, and came back a hero after defeating some evil monsters on an island with the ragtag crew of. I hope you know what I'm talking about, Christiana.
Yeah,
I got one question. Was it the upper or the lower half? I said to be half elven, right?
Okay. It's just kind of spread out pretty evenly.
Doak also had asked about just so like, is it a problem where you from for people to be half elven?
I wouldn't say it's so much a problem. They're not fully integrated into our communities. We are very exclusive. And it's been an interesting time being out in the world and seeing how other folks live, where it's not, where people are more mixed together.
Well, I guess I can see how some things would, I mean, can't help but be different. I mean, half elves don't live so long as full elves, right?
There is that, yes.
But
there is a bit of a elitist attitude, and I've recognized this in myself. But these things are harder to shake than you might think when you've been, living with this is just the reality for 100 years, of your entire life, and going outside is a experience.
well, I obviously have never lived somewhere that was only ever one kind of people, so I don't really know what that's like, but I've always thought that I was really lucky to live somewhere where there's so many different kinds of people.
Well, I've been finding it to be an interesting experience, and I've learned a lot, and I've come to realize that there are a lot that can be learned and enjoyed, and with other cultures and races. So it's, I wouldn't say I'm perfect, but but yeah.
What about you, Archie? What's it like for a tiefling out east? There aren't so many out there, right?
True, it's true. Some of those cities are pretty racist, quite frankly. Just, but I grew up among somewhat mixed for that area, with a lot of dwarves, and they were, good folk. Just saw things on merit. You weren't you weren't what you looked like. You were what you did. Your actions spoke for you, and
Is that how you guys met? Pointing to Alaric and.
well, actually, no, it's
No, they found me in a hole. It's nothing really.
true.
Well, we could tell him that story also.
I mean, we don't really have to tell them that.
Well, on that note, my mom's told me not to ask you, but they're not here. What are you guys running from?
I wouldn't say running from.
I mean,
Really?
I heard some of what Melicanth was saying. Archfey are after you guys? Why?
Ask myself that question all the time.
Yeah,
Technically, they're not after me, so you know.
well,
No,
true, yeah.
you know how it is. You get mixed up in the wrong thing, stumble into things, and before you know it, there's Archfey after you. I'm still trying. I'm still confused. I don't know how we got here.
You want Archfey? That's how you get Archfey. Wander into things.
How much of the story are you willing to tell him? You don't have to recount. The
Oh
whole thing
no,
now,
not much.
Yeah.
Tell him as little as possible.
Okay.
I do intentionally kind of lead anytime that it would come up that you suggest that I'm related to the Copperbeard family. He does kind of cut that off. You get the impression he doesn't want to be associated with them at the moment.
Okay. Well, so you guys tell the sanitized, perhaps, version of what you guys have been up to, and you can tell that he would like to know more, but he doesn't press. He's definitely not. He doesn't want to offend or alienate you guys. So you guys are the landscape that you are traveling through kind of opens up, but you see that this tall yellow grass is just everywhere, and Doak basically, as he had kind of said before, in this part of the world, that stuff basically grows anywhere that you don't clear it away. If it's anywhere that you don't see this grass, it's because someone cleared it away and planted something else there and maintains it. Because this grass is just very sort of invasive, and he says, even this road would get overgrown inside of a year if people didn't clear it away.
What was it called again?
It's just, they call it just the golden grass. The golden plains is golden grass.
Is it useful for anything?
Well, you can weave it into mats and baskets and stuff like that, but it's so, it's everywhere, so it's kind of considered, cheap. It's functional, but, mostly if you have that stuff, it's because you can't afford better, because it's everywhere, so people would kind of like to have other stuff, if you follow me.
Yeah.
So as we go along, I'm just gonna kind of pick grass as we go and just kind of make rope type stuff. Just
Are you trying to like actually make a rope, or just playing
just
with it?
it's mostly just to pass the time, but I'm aiming for something rope-like in case it might be useful. I don't know how much skill that would require.
Well, what I'll say is that, like, while walking, I don't think you're going to be able to, like, make a functional rope that you could actually climb on. But what I'll say is that you learn a lot about its structure and definitely get an understanding of how it could be used to make rope.
Alright, well,
Or
that's
mats,
useful anyway.
or woven into baskets. It's you get a good feel for it as a material, but I think while you're walking, you're not going to really be able to make anything substantial.
I'll just make little braids and toss them as
Yeah.
I go.
I'm just going to grab a long stalk of it and shove it in my jaw. I just kind of love this impression of the dwarf walking along with this massive stalk of grass that he's chewing on. I don't know why.
It literally sticks, several feet out in front, like the
Yeah,
tip's
yeah.
kind of brushing the
Just
ground
kind of
as you walk.
stupidly ridiculous. You know? He's living it up in the countryside.
It's actually a little bit sweet, the taste of it
Yeah.
as you kind of chew it.
There you go.
Not so sweet like you could make sugar with it, but
Not bitter.
not a bad a flavor.
Yeah.
And so as you guys make your way, you do start seeing you're approaching some rocky hills in the distance, and as you get closer, you realize that there is sort of a big, there's a plateau that you can see in the distance, and a sheer cliff alongside. Excuse me. And eventually, as you get closer and closer, I'm gonna show you a map here in a second, just to show you basically the general layout here. But as Doak describes it, and you start to be able to see it, there's a plateau that's a couple of 100 feet above the level of the surrounding land, and then it adjusts. It's adjacent to a sheer cliff that goes up higher. And so he says basically they have their outside part of their town and their farming that's on the plateau, but then it goes into the cave from there. And there's essentially two tiers where there's usually elevators that the giants power themselves. That is usually how you would get up first to the plateau and then up to the city from the plateau. But he doesn't know if those are going to be working. So what he tells you is, as you approach, the road that you're on is going to take you to that first elevator. And if it's not working, there is another way around that has a bunch of switchbacks that let you walk up to the top without using the elevator. But it's obviously a lot longer.
Sure.
If the elevator is much easier if it's working, but you don't know because you don't know what's going on.
And this is a giant village.
Yes, he says it's So like you saw that statue, they're between 15 and 20 feet tall, most of them. So the town is not so big in terms of population. I'm not sure how many live there total, but I don't think it could be more than maybe 150 max, maybe less than that. I've only really ever been only a little ways inside, but there's so much cool stuff in there. They've got a great big tower with this shining sort of beacon that gives light to the internal parts of the city. So like the part of the cave that would be dark, you can still see in there because they got this big beacon that lights up the whole big ceiling of this cavern. They got this really cool fountain near, we call it the visitor center. It's really just like the area where they do a lot of trading deals with, smaller folk like us. It's really great. And then they have out in the farmlands, they have these little, they have their own kind of sport. They throw rocks. But they're really good at it. I mean, they have, they're ones that they use for the sport. And he's holding up his hands. It's like they're like 2 foot diameters. Like they throw them like hundreds of feet.
And
Well, they're throwing them very precisely. Is all they have to. They're landing them in a target hundreds of feet away.
I've heard of Dumber.
well,
And are
that's
these
usually
the
throwing
only-
the rocks at each other.
The only types of giants around here? Stone giants?
Well, only type around here. I mean, I know there are other kinds of giants, but I've never seen any others but the stone giants.
And the delivery we got to make is beyond the town, right?
Well, it's one of the people in the town that was supposed to be. In fact, actually, brief retcon of that sentence. He knows who the delivery is to, and it's actually the thane of the city. The one in charge of the city is who the customer was. So, and he would know that because obviously you're intending to deliver it to them. So, yeah. So, and he says now normally, see what was supposed to happen is that they were going to come pick it up. So I've never been to their, headquarters or town hall or whatever they call it. I've never been that far inside. So I don't know exactly, but I know that there are the places that we would normally go to make, trades and so on. So we could start there.
Oh,
Makes
we're
sense.
But we don't really know why they didn't come pick it up yet. And obviously, Deke was supposed to come and find out too, but he didn't come back. So we have to find out what happened to him too.
yeah.
Guess we should have been paying a little more attention for his trail.
Well,
Guess we can-
I mean, I think we can reasonably assume that he made it this far.
Pretty straight road.
Well, true. We didn't see.
Now, this road has
anything.
always been pretty safe. I mean, there, you go off the road, there are things that live in the grass, but usually, this area is not too much. I mean, the giants are big and tough, right? So any road that habitually has giant traffic on it, I mean, the animals stay away. The big ones, anyway. I mean, anything that would be dangerous. The giants are really good at scaring large predators away.
Well, they're pretty large themselves, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, lead on, Drokara. Doke, sorry.
Yeah, okay. And so here I'm going to... I don't need the...
The giant controller there.
I'm actually going to show... I'm going to email this to you as well. But I have a map that I've made here.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So first, what I want, I'm going to email this to you as well, but what I'm going to just briefly discuss on the stream here is that this is like the horizontal cross section to show you the scale of this plateau, like from the ground, how big it is, and then the scale of the lift up into the cave and the whole scale here. So as you see from left to right here, all of this stuff is inside the cave, this half. As you can see, it kind of corresponds this cross section and then the top down. So the whole right half here is inside the cave. And then we have the initial elevator you're going to here, and then the switchback that leads up. So most of this is relatively sheer, but there is sort of the hills that have been built up to switchback right here. So let me email this to you just because you can see there's various points of interest numbered on here. And I know what those numbers are, but generally speaking, as you navigate this whole area, you'll just take each sort of numbered circle as like there's something there, and I'll tell you what it is if you go to investigate it. Some of them Doak knows because he's been there. So let me send that email real quick.
This board is magnificently detailed. I like how they even put "You are here" on it.
Well, I did. I did not draw this freehand, so. Okay, map. Then I'm attaching. Let's see. My oh. Okay. So I've sent that email just so you guys can have your own reference copy of this map. But again, as far as the scale is concerned, like this initial plateau is 700 feet up from the ground below. So it's a significant climb there. And then it's another couple hundred feet up from there into the cave area. And this whole map, left to right, spans about a mile and a half. All right. So, as you guys approach, you are first arriving at this massive elevator, and the platform, even just on its own, is about 30 feet by 30 feet. And it's just this huge, massive structure that's been constructed. It's got stone columns that go from the bottom to the top and thick metal chains to run this whole platform. And you can see way up at the top, there's some mechanisms designed to be like brakes, so that you could lock it in place if necessary. It doesn't, as far as you can tell from the bottom, seem to be locked, but there's also nobody there. And Doak kind of looks and he kind of peers up to the top and he says, well, the last time I was here, there was a stone giant here who welcomed me and said, step right on, and there's a wheel that they turn up top to raise it.
Okay.
But, so if we, obviously the climb here would be pretty steep, so I think if the elevator's not working, there is around, that direction, there's a switchback that we can take up to the top.
I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Yeah.
Does it look like
Take the pommel of my sword and just kind of bang on the frame of the elevator.
Yeah. So the columns are stone and wouldn't probably resonate much, but the chain is metal, and you could probably rattle that. It's fairly sturdy. There's a number of them. It's not just one chain, but even this chain, the links are like 8 inches long and very sturdy. So it looks like it would be very difficult to break such a chain. And 700 feet of it, you would imagine it takes some strength to even just sort of make the chain wobble a little bit.
It's normally down, you said, and there's a stone giant here to greet us. Is that?
Well, normally, it wouldn't always be down if someone was using it, but there would usually be someone here to sort of just police people getting onto it, or, just to arrange the transportation.
Well, how do they normally arrange? Do they, fire off an arrow or just shout?
They shout at each other, but they're loud.
Yeah.
It's worth giving a try, and I just lean back. Hello! See if I can get any noise up 100 feet, 200 feet.
Echoes. And did you just shout, or did you use your someone had that thaumaturgy, right?
I have that too.
Okay.
Thaumaturgy,
Yeah,
I just had a regular holler.
Yeah. It's if you think about someone hearing you 700 feet away, they might, it would be probably kind of a distant voice. But you just kind of hear the wind. There's no apparent response.
No bell, no gong, no nothing.
You want to give it a shot, Archie?
Sure.
With a thaumaturgy?
Hello up there!
And then there's a substantial echo there, and a flock of some kind of bird lifts up out of the grass about 30 yards away and flies away and flop, 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 flop. And
Did it work? Did it work?
no
Oh,
apparent
no,
response.
I don't
Yeah.
Well, looks like the switchback it is.
think so. Yep, they go hiking.
So he leads you along the side, and he's taking you the short way. There is a road that would go around that direction, but instead of going to cross the bridge over there, he's basically taking you just overland to the base. Let me just where I can show my little mouse cursor here. He's taking you to meet. It's a little bit uphill, but you're going to meet up with the switchback path at about right here. And it takes, maybe 20 minutes to make your way, kind of fording through the grass and going uphill a little bit. And the grass starts to thin out a little bit, and there's a few trees on some of the hills, but mostly the grass has been cleared away, and it's bare as you get up to where the road is.
Archie, do you want me to take the immovable rod for a while? we haven't talked about. We're supposed to be switching, so I don't know.
Sure.
He's more melee, and I'm in the rear with the gear, so I figured.
Sure, yeah.
We haven't seen hiding hair of anybody, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's one of those "it's too quiet" moments.
That's one of them.
Yeah, we'll pass it over.
Well, that's unpleasant.
So you guys make your way up this switchback, and it's still relatively steep, just in terms of making the hike. If you think about making a 700-foot ascent, even back and forth like this, you're going uphill for sure. And Doak is kind of just saying, yeah, you can see why normally we would want to use the elevator if it was running, but yeah.
I've never really actually wanted for a horse until right now. Dwarves aren't built for all this walking.
And Doak kind of just says, yeah, the horses, we're not as big on them around here. They don't do well with the grass. They can't eat it.
Maybe I can find one of those birds.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go, yeah.
Still don't know if that was real. Just pull my leg.
As you make your way up near the top, this little house here is kind of a base camp that's your size, not giant sized. And Doak just kind of says, this is just kind of like a little, getting out of the elements sort of hut for people who are traveling. There's not usually anything in there. It's just sort of a place. It's an in-between place to stop if it's pouring rain or something like that.
What time is it right now?
Right now, it's, let's see, you left at about 7. It was about 6 hours on your way here. So it's going to be, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
We should stop for lunch then, eat something.
Good
Get off my
point.
feet for a little while, gladly.
I want to see if there's anything in the hut anyway, so you never know.
Yeah. You check inside, and it does seem it's empty. It also looks like it hasn't seen a lot of use, meaning there's a lot of dust on the floor. Not months of dust, but doesn't look like anyone's been in it recently.
They have water?
There is a well.
I'm going to get some water. Now
right.
refresh, we leave.
So yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything of interest in the hut.
What season of the year is this again?
Well, you are more familiar with the seasons over on the the eastern side where it was late fall.
Okay. Does it feel late fall on this side, or
It's
feel?
it's a bit warmer than it was over in the eastern side. It's I would still say it's 50s Fahrenheit.
What the hell's that?
You Canadians and your metric system.
You rest of the world.
Yeah.
Your metric system.
It's
I
light
legit have to
jacket
go
weather.
translate that.
It's
Okay.
light jacket weather. Yeah. But you guys, with your lots of activity in your armor, I think you're doing just fine.
Actually, the same temperature as here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's also just like big open, sky, just with the grass kind of creating this big, long, flat horizon. It's beautiful in its way, but also just like there's not a lot of points of interest in it. It's kind of almost looking at a yellow ocean.
Yeah, I really want to be inside some rock right now.
All right. Well, Doak says, "Well, we're on our way."
Alrighty.
Lead on.
So as you guys make your way, oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I have to grab the other window to move the map. As you guys make your way further up and you crest the actual rim of the plateau, what you're seeing is recognizable as cultivated farmland, without really any sign of the golden grass up here. And you're a little ways away from some of it, but you see, furrows and plantings and various, various crops that are not sort of, giant sized, but there's, giant sized plots of regular sized plants. But you actually see off kind of in the distance, you see what looks to be, this is still like 400, 500 feet away, but you can see a figure that looks to be a stone giant kind of way off in the distance, but they're standing kind of funny in a way that's hard to tell. They're still pretty far away. And they are just kind of, as you watch, you can see that they look like they threw something.
Ah, is that one of them, Doak? That's one of the giants.
I guess so, but I don't know, something weird about it. It's about them. It's, I don't know. I think I have to get closer.
Well, he's the only one to talk to around here. So.
Anybody else? Yeah.
As you guys make your way in that direction, it becomes increasingly clear that while this is a stone giant, this stone giant is kind of deformed. They have kind of like a hunch to them. One of their arms is bigger than the other, and their skin is a little bit like mottled. And Doak definitely says, "I've never seen a stone giant look like that before." And then, as you guys get within about 200 feet, the giant definitely notices you guys approaching, and you see it pick up a rock and hurl it in your direction.
Ooh.
Is it coming very close in our direction?
It lands about 20 feet to your right and just tumbles.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop.
Haruki, you got the bigger voice. Why don't you call over to our new friend?
Stop for sure.
Doak kind of says, "Some of the giants speak common because they come and trade with the city, but I don't know if all of them do. And like I said, that one looks really strange. I've never seen one with the
Hump. Yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should leave this one alone.
No, I think he's the only guy around. We got to talk to him.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't.
But if
The,
we go,
Let's have
you
it.
hear kind
in.
of over the distance, you hear a voice kind of shouting, kind of, and it's kind of again shouting over a distance. But Doak kind of says, that, "I, I think, I think it might be a she, and I think she said, go away, dream.'"
Dream.
Yeah, I was. Phrasing is a little bit weird. It's a little hard to understand her.
I don't have any experience with these. I'm not really sure.
Well, there's only one dream that we knew about.
The stone giant is throwing another rock.
Archie, tell him not to do that.
This one lands about 20 feet ahead of you and rolls kind of into where you guys are able to evade it by just kind of stepping out of its way, but it's clearly closer. And Doak kind of says, well, I don't know if that was... I don't think we should assume that they're missing by accident.
Right, yeah, if they're...
Well, you did say they had a game of throwing stones.
Yeah. The ones that are really good could definitely hit us from this distance.
Well, there you go. They're either really bad at it, or they don't want to hit us. Either one of those.
I'll go ahead and ask.
Well, I feel like I could ask them in giant, but I don't think they'd hear me from here. We'd have to get closer.
Can I cast thaumaturgy on him? Does that work?
I don't think it works like that, but it's like I could tell you a simple sentence to say.
Sure.
I like it.
Sure.
And
Isn't that how we used it for the play, though? So we made that kid roar.
Oh, I don't remember.
I think I mimicked the sound of a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
so-
he opened his mouth.
So he tells you a very simple sentence that just says, "We only want to talk," and it basically sounds it out for you. And I'd say you were able to repeat it reasonably well.
Bada bada.
And as you shout it out, the giant definitely kind of stands up, kind of cocking its head, and then turns and starts to run away in the direction of kind of north from this spot.
Well, what'd you go and tell them? Her, it, them.
What they said.
Yeah, Doak says, you said it right.
Just momentarily out of character, I am impressed that they speak Flintstone, apparently, because it sounds like a dude.
Yeah, so this giant is in a full dash and going about 80 feet per round.
Let's just where's the like common trading area? Just head there first.
So Doak points to kind of off to the north of where you guys are, up where these 18, 17, and 16 are, and he says that is sort of the the first sort of outpost where people would meet, like if they're doing like larger trades like livestock. It's kind of like a storehouse and everything like that. So that might be one place to check. And then the visitor center that I mentioned is up in the cave. But if looks like, and as you watch, he's pointing, he's like, the giant is running to where the other elevator is, but that one also, you can see there's a long straight path that goes up all the way from the southern edge of the plateau up to the northern edge, goes up. That's the other way to go, like the switchback, if the elevator isn't working. But I mean, it's a couple hundred feet. That giant might, I don't know if they're running the elevator or they could probably just climb it.
Well,
Well, I don't have a lot of faith that we're going to be able to use that other elevator.
True.
I don't know. I've been working out. Maybe I could. Probably not. Yeah. Maybe where the trading is, we might find some other folks. Maybe the giants themselves are spooked, but other people might know what's going on.
True, yeah.
So, like the visitor center?
Yeah, I think
No, that's up above, right? There's a
Yeah,
trading area
yeah,
down at
yeah.
this level.
18, 16,
Like over
17,
here is where, like, I don't know. It's you can kind of do some dealing there, like for people who don't need to go all the way up in there, and like there are some of the stone giants don't like coming out of the cave.
Well, who are we supposed to give this to? Like, where's the?
Well, like I said, they were supposed to come pick it up. So I don't know where they want us to bring it.
But if it's a high mucky, it's probably in the cave.
That would be my
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
I think we're going to have to go there.
I still kind of want to ask if there's anybody down here first, though. I kind of want to know what I'm walking into. If they're all scared and going to start throwing stones at us, eventually one of them might even accidentally hit us.
Well, might as well check. I mean, I'd hate
Yeah.
to, miss Deke just because we walked by the building or something.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
So, are you heading north towards this 16,
Yeah.
17, 18? Okay. So, as you get closer and make your way up in that direction, what you see is a couple. So there's one main building, and as you approach, you realize it is giant scale. It's a relatively simple one-level building of giant scale, though, and it's kind of looks like maybe just a simple sort of office, but it's made from enormous clay bricks. And what you see around it, that's 16 here, and then around it, 17 is as you approach, you see that it's a big gallery of statuary, and most of them are more like human scale sized, still very intricate, and just kind of posed, various around. Some of them look like, they're representational. Some of them seem to be abstract as well. There's a variety. And then 18 looks like it's a staging area, and you see big piles of cut timber, but some of them are kind of pushed over and scattered. There's a couple of wagons that are smashed. And then you also see in that area like a 6-foot wide lockbox that made of metal.
Is there anybody around?
You don't see anybody. You haven't been inside the building, but it's pretty quiet.
What did you say earlier? Too quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much that. I don't know. I kind of want to check out the statues, but we should probably go in the office building place.
Well, they're nice statues and all, but what do you think?
So Doak just kind of says, I was never in the market for statues, but I think this is just kind of a display area for people who might want to buy some.
Yeah, maybe I'll get one made. Hang it up here somewhere. But
It's like these statues, I mean, the one in the city, right, in the park, obviously, like, you need giants to carry that one any distance, but these are, like, transportable sized.
yeah, well, so am I.
If you, when you check out the office, it doesn't even have, like, a door to close. It's just an open doorway, but the doorway is 23, 24 feet tall, and you sort of and a good 15 feet wide. You pass through, and you can see it is a relatively simple office, but there's a giant chair where the seat of it is 7 feet tall, 7 feet high, and a big desk made from a few wooden pieces, but the big main part of it is a big piece of slate, and it's equivalently scaled. You can kind of see peeking over the top of it is the handle of a giant scale lantern, and there seem to be other sort of clay tablets up there.
Gonna holler out, anybody home? Hello.
Nope. Doak starts to clamber up onto the chair to kind of stand on it and try to look up on the desk.
You see anything?
He's standing to where he can kind of look over on the desk, and he says, well, there's the lantern, which looks fancy, and then a bunch of clay tablets. Let's see. And he's like gonna try to I'm gonna make him make an athletics check to try to get up onto the desk. That's okay. He does all right. He's not graceful, but he manages to get up there. And then he's walking around. You hear him kind of moving around up there because this desk is still just really big. And he kind of calls down. The tablets, they're just like trading invoices and stuff.
Recent?
Let's see. This one's right where someone might have been working on it, but it still says it's dated a month ago. This lantern is kind of weird. Does any of you know, well, I don't know. You guys probably don't know magic stuff. And
I'm a dirty.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean I'm used to, my moms are like, they just know, identify, and they can just tell exactly what any magic item does whenever they want.
Are you sure it's magic?
Well, I don't know. It just looks fancy. Like it's ornate in a way that I wouldn't expect if it was just practical. And you see him kind of like he's grabbing like the big handle of it, sort of
Careful.
lifting, and it starts to kind of tip over. But then as he's holding it, you see it start to shrink.
Oh,
Then
okay.
he's like standing over the ledge. He says, "See, magic." And it's now sort of human scale sized.
Interesting.
Now I'm not sure how to get down.
I'll just jump.
Well,
Do
maybe
you
out of
have,
the chair first.
Alara, can you use Featherfall on him?
I can.
I mean, if you don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I mean, it's not that far a climb.
Well, no, I can do it. Hang on. He's like tying the lantern to his belt, and he does that kind of awkward thing where he's like trying to ease down over the chair, and he's got one leg sticking way down, but he's kind of like not committing.
How far?
So the chair is like 7 feet, and then the desk is maybe another 5 or 6 feet above that.
All right.
So then he kind of ends up plopping back down onto the chair, and then from there he hops down onto the ground and stumbles a little bit, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, yeah, check it out."
Well done. Well done.
I don't know what it actually does, but it's
Yeah,
obviously
lantern.
magic.
I might be able to help with that. I don't know if I want to waste it, but I am going to whip out my little magnifying glass,
Oh, yeah?
and I will use it on the lantern.
Okay. As you do, you discover that it is a lantern of revealing. And I'm pulling this up. Basically, you can use it as a hooded lantern, obviously, but it also can see invisible things.
So I will explain that.
It's like, that's cool. My
I
first
can
loot. Well, okay, I mean, I don't want to just claim it, but I did.
You got to
come
put
up
it
on
back
this.
when we're done.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like that would
technically
be
stealing from the giants.
Why would they
That-
have that on their desk?
well. I would imagine if this is a place where he has to, look at cargo, or I don't know who works here, but they may have to examine cargo, and if they want to make sure things that aren't supposed to be in the city aren't coming into the city, that might be a good way to reveal things that are hidden.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Well, I guess you're right that it's kind of like, I mean, if they're going to come back, this stealing, isn't it? Should I?
We're just
Yeah, I
borrowing
mean,
it
if
for
we
now.
get up, if we get up to the plateau and everybody's dead, then when we head back to your place, you can take it.
I'm kind of wondering about that other one that
All
said, "Stay away, you dreams." If she was seeing something that we aren't seeing, this might be important because maybe there are actually things running around. I mean, yesterday, apparently, every couple of hours there was something entering my room making noise. Now, granted, it was because Melicanth told it to, but still, it makes me a little bit nervous.
So I'll hang on to it then.
Just gonna
For now,
borrow
I'll
for
put
now.
it
Hang on to
back
it
if
for
it
now.
turns out that someone wants it.
Wow.
But he kind of ties it to his belt again, where it's kind of hanging at his hip.
I mean, you could always turn it on now.
Well,
How long?
I
did it
don't want to
last?
just be selfish about it. Did one of you want to hold it? Do you want?
No, no,
I
you-
can,
you go ahead. Go ahead.
And
by all
he
means.
he does sort of it does actually need to burn oil like a lantern, but it has some in it, and so he kind of just does light it and says, yeah, and so you can it's got a hood on it, so you can use it just sort of like a small light to just illuminate something and not be too obvious. And then let's see, and shining kind of turns around in a circle. I mean, it should be working, so I guess there's no invisible things here.
God,
Makes sense if that's what it does. So, how long does that burn for? We got to have oil, right? I don't want to burn through all their oil.
Nero would know because of her identify spell that it will burn for 6 hours on 1 pint of oil, and it looks like it maybe has about half that in it.
So maybe save it for right now.
Okay, he turns it off,
All
puts it out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe those broken wagons will give us some idea. I wonder if a fight happened here.
Well, something smashed them. I mean, I don't know if it was a fight, but someone sure didn't want the wagons functional.
No horses.
Well, there wouldn't usually be horses anyway.
For
Like
wagons?
I said. Well, I mean,
all right, horses don't. So, what drives the wagons? What powers the wagons?
manpower.
Ah. All right. None of them either.
Well, let's go check it out.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an
So,
eye out to see if I see any movement along the way. I'm kind of getting nervous.
yeah, make a perception check.
17.
It is still eerily quiet, and as you're kind of listening and hearing sort of the wind go by, Doak kind of says, "It is weird because usually, like I told you about their big goats, right? Like usually you hear those, they make they're sort of buying noises. Usually when you're in this part of the area, they're all over the place and you hear it. It's kind of weird hearing it so quiet. I mean, even without everybody here, it's just."
Yeah.
So you check out the the wagons, and it looks, well, make an investigation check.
And everybody, or just near it? Or?
Well, whoever wants to make the check for you guys looking at the wagons.
Well,
You're on.
let's see. Investigation is a +3, so 20, not natural.
Okay. You are pretty sure that the wagons were smashed when they had stuff on them that has since been removed. Like they might have been full of goods before, and then someone has removed most of what was on it after it was smashed, because you can still see little broken pieces that were left behind of whatever had been there, but it looks like there's, like footprints and enough pieces like moved away that it looks like they were smashed and then someone tried to salvage what had been on it that was not destroyed.
Any idea what was on it?
A variety of things that you see. You see some like scraps of fibers that might have been like fabrics. You see different like scrapes and gouges that look like metal might have been. Something made of metal had been stored in the wood. Heavy things that would have scraped up and gouged the wood as it was moved around on it. You also see that enormous sort of giant scale lockbox looks like it has a bunch of scratches around the lock as though someone tried to open it, but it's closed still now.
Someone with no skill and a lot of attitude.
Yeah, someone without the key for sure.
All right.
Can I cast Shatter on the lock?
Well, you can do that if you want. You also have a colleague who could try to pick it. If you want to use your spell slot for that, though, sure.
I can cast Shatter with my sword.
I want to know what's in it. So who wants to go first?
Well, wait a minute now. Why are we breaking people's property? I know there's nobody around, but...
And Doak kind of just says, well, yeah, I mean, like, this was just sitting on a desk. That one's in a lock. I mean, I want to know what's inside it, too, though. I don't know. How do you guys usually do this? How does this work?
There's no usual in this business, I think.
There's no one here to stop us.
I'm pretty sure that everything here is unusual, actually. But do you really want to get into this? I mean, not into this situation. I mean, into this box.
Yeah, give it. Yeah, see if you can get in without anybody.
I mean, I don't want to go and steal a bunch of gold or anything, but you never know.
Like, it might have something else that would be really useful for us while we try to help whatever's happening.
Or something that could explain some of this.
What was inside that was so interesting to someone? We'll take a peek inside, and then, without destroying the lock, I can lock it back up later.
There you go.
Everyone's really good at this part, though.
Make a lock pick, thieves' tools check. I would say there would be, like, it being so big is kind of a wash, because on the one hand it's much larger components, but also the springs and resistances and everything require more force. So I'll say it's even though it's a large lock, the difficulty is going to balance out.
All right. Well, I've got extra daggers if I need something bigger than a tiny little hairpin. This is with Dex?
Dex and proficiency.
Okay. 25.
Yeah, no problem. Click.
See? Didn't have to break anything.
It's probably some novelty doing such a big one, but yeah.
Well, if I was able to stick my finger right in the lock, that's not good.
You could stick your whole hand in it.
It's a good thing I didn't, cut up my fingernails or anything.
But so as you pop open the lock, you open the lockbox, and what is inside is a hammer that is 6 feet long. And I mean, it's more like a construction-style mallet rather than a warhammer. But
look fancy, even?
Well, looks like a big wooden mallet, but it was also in a lockbox.
It's just a hammer.
Well, why would somebody lock it up, though?
I don't know.
And Doak kind of held up the lantern. The lantern shrunk down when I picked it up, because magic items will do that usually.
I'm going to pick up the hammer.
And sure enough, as you do, it sort of shrinks down to be like a large mallet, but human or elf-sized. You know, that you could wield it like it would be a light hammer if you were to try to use it as a weapon.
Okay, so it's magic. Put it back in the
Right.
box.
But I want to know what it does.
Can't you use your magnifying glass thing again?
Sadly, only once a day.
You burned it on the first thing we found?
Well, there's another way to find out.
Sorry, I don't mean to judge. I'm just like,
You know what? I'm going to take the hammer and I'm going to tap it on that busted wagon to see what happens.
donk. It goes donk like a hammer.
Doesn't no special effects or sparks or nothing.
No, you do get the general feeling that it has something it could do. Like holding it, you've used magic items before, and there's a potential there you can feel, but it needs an intent. And it's hard to guess what that would be.
Yeah.
Look, let's just put it back in the box.
You're no fun. Fine, I will put it back in the box.
And if it's still here on the way out, then, nobody can-
Doak does kind of go over to the wheel and say, I can fix small things. And he touches the wheel of that particular wagon, and just the wheel part kind of back to normal. Like, but
You're
I can't
person,
do
yeah.
the whole wagon all at once or anything. It would probably take a while to try to fix the whole wagon.
So
Very handy.
you could have
See,
fixed
I
the
told
lock
ya.
if they did break it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's handy to know.
Sounds like mending.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I'm familiar with the spell.
Can you do it?
Not at the moment.
So close the box back up, lock it back up. Doesn't look like anybody's tampered with it, except for all the scratching on the side.
All right. Well,
Look, I've met a lot of people, and it's best not to steal from them the first day. Besides, if they're already scared of us, there's no point in this.
Doak kind of looks uncomfortably down at the lantern again.
We're just borrowing that.
Yeah, you're right. Just borrowing.
Hey,
Still, Lark knows me too well. She's gonna take it.
All right.
I've seen you with a hammer before, so
All right. Well, let's head to. I mean, do you guys want to check out the elevator or
definitely.
head for the path? Like,
Are they separated by a lot in this case?
Well, yeah, it's gonna if you're looking at this whole map here, it's 1.5 miles from left to right. So from the top to bottom where the elevator is, like right here, down to the start of that path.
Hell.
You could see it's not
About half
like
a mile.
a long way, but it's maybe half
The
a mile.
elevator's close, though. We might as well check it out.
Yeah,
while
you
we're
guys
here.
are currently like right in this area right here. So
Yeah,
all right.
and that's which way the
yeah, that's where the
Humpback
giant
one
ran
went.
to.
yeah. So maybe we can calm them down.
So you make your way over in that direction, and the elevator is very similar in design, perhaps a little bit smaller than the other one. It also doesn't rise quite so high. It's like maybe 300 feet or so for this one. So it's still significant, but not as high as the other one. But you don't see any sign of the giant.
And the elevator's up.
The elevator platform is down.
Oh. All right, but there was no bell or anything.
No. Doak just kind of says, every time I was here, there was always a giant that was just like right here to they manned it.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to make it a little more automated. Usually maybe a golem nearby or something. Or a signal.
Nira, with your passive perception, I'll say that you notice that the chains of this one do seem like they're swaying, like maybe the giant climbed it.
I think someone was just here. These chains are moving, and they're too heavy to just be this light breeze moving.
Yeah. So there's just still a little bit of a lingering sway.
Our odd little friend, big friend.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Well, we could climb it. Or
Okay, then you can carry the rod and do that.
I might be able to. Although I think
The chain links are actually big enough that you could really climb it almost just like a ladder. It's not quite so comfortable, and it is a ways up, so I would need a roll, but it's doable. It's not like just climbing a regular chain or a rope. You could definitely, there's grips on it and footholds.
Do we want to try it?
Yeah, I'll go up.
faster than going all the way down to the other end of the city. Hopefully.
If you don't fall.
Yeah, I'm
Doak
fine.
kind of looks at it and he's looking way up. He's like, I think I'd probably be better off trying to go the other way.
I'm with you, Doak. I'd rather take the path.
Climbed up the table, all right.
Well, yeah, but that, was only so far to fall.
Falling's fine. It's just that sudden stop at the end you have to watch out for.
Well, I don't want to tell you guys how to do it, but I think I would need help getting up that.
All right. Come on. I'm going to head towards the path.
All right.
I'm not arguing about it anymore.
We'll do the path.
All right.
All right.
Better to stay together.
Yeah.
See if I can beat you up the top. But
So you do make your way down there, and then you do see that this path, as it's kind of narrowing, lowering down to reach you, is also itself fairly, steep and straight. You could imagine it would be very unpleasant trying to get out of the way of an out-of-control wagon on that road. Fortunately, it seems to be deserted. And so as you emerge onto it and are starting to climb back up in this direction...
Can we see what 15 was as we go
15,
past?
15 was just to indicate just the fields and also where the giant you saw was.
Okay.
The 15 is where the giant was when you first saw them.
Okay. All right. The path.
Okay, so you make your way up. 1 was the elevator itself, if you didn't gather that already. All right, so as you make your way up to the top there, Doak is a little winded, but game, not complaining about it. But he kind of looks and he kind of turns and says, "Oh, the light's out." That's
that tower you were talking
upsetting. Yeah.
That can't be good.
No. Well, I mean, I guess we're gonna try the visitor center, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's this way, and he's leading you in the direction of number 2 there.
about. As we're climbing this pathway, though, that was up there, and looking down upon the plateau,
Yep.
did it look as though there'd been any other damage or wear and tear, or like it had been abandoned, or just
It
empty?
looks like I guess I'm just trying to think. You wouldn't necessarily have a lot of
Context.
yeah. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys that it looks like it hasn't been really maintained in a few weeks.
Going back a month. When did Deke come here? How long ago was that?
It was trying to remember what I said. I think I'm going to say it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Deke is leading you towards the visitor center and
Doak.
telling... Oh, Doak, yes, excuse me. Leading you there, and he says, yeah, so this is, to the extent that they have, an inn for people our size, it's kind of that. There are rooms. It's not really an inn as much as just, you can sort of rent space there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, the only stuff that's going to be our size up here is going to be there. And then as you guys approach, you see that there's you're looking, if you're looking at the entrance to it, which is going to be right here, you see that half of the building off to the right has been crushed by rocks that have fallen from the roof of the cave here. And you guys note that you're now a little ways in to the cave, so there's still plenty of light from the outside here, but rocks have fallen from the roof of the cave, and there's just rubble that has crushed part of the building there.
The roof is still a couple 100 feet up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Doak is just kind of like, that's... They would have cleared it away.
Is there any sign of people?
Nope. Actually, make a perception check. Everyone can make a perception check here.
19.
Oh.
All right. I was gonna let everyone make one, but so 19 is enough.
27.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think the 19 also hears this. That you hear. You don't see anything, but you hear, kind of off behind one of the upper levels of one of these buildings that's right in this area. You hear a soft-spoken but giant's voice, kind of idly, sort of mumbling something like. Something.
Where's that coming from?
It's a little bit hard to tell because of the acoustics here are weird, but Nira, with the 27, you are pretty sure that the roof of the building behind the visitor center is where that sound is coming from.
I think it's over there, guys. Do we want to check that out?
It's the only life we've seen here, so yeah.
And Doak kind of says, "Oh, I hear it. Can't quite make out what they're saying though. I think she's crying."
It might be the same one we met before. Everybody just try not to scare her. And then try not to get hit by her in case she throws a rock.
Mm-hmm. Right. So are you going around to try to see where you could see them? You haven't been inside the visitor center yet, but you sort of heard this as you were standing in front of the visitor center. So how are you approaching?
Wide circle.
Okay.
Around to see if they're on the outside.
So you're going to be easing around, kind of around this direction.
Sure.
3 is basically where she is.
Okay.
And so as you are you stealthing?
Yeah, I will, because I'm afraid.
Okay. So Alaric is going stealthy. Anyone else?
We don't have Pass Without a Trace with us, so she took her staff.
We can try.
Doak gets a 13 stealth.
I rolled a 3. I only got a 15.
That's not going to go well. Stealth plus 2. 9.
All right. 9, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
More armor yet, have you?
Yeah. Nope. So I think as you guys
I don't have that new armor yet, so guarded.
As you guys are approaching, you hear the voice, like you're still kind of coming around the corner, but you hear the voice, huh? And Doak kind of just says,
Tell him it's okay.
She's speaking really, like she's definitely upset, and she's saying, "Go away, I don't believe in you."
Well, it's rather unfriendly. I've had a few kicks to my, confidence lately, but still, I'm actually here.
Yeah.
Can you tell her we're really here? We'd like to help. Something like that.
Yeah, so he shouts out in, kind of similar language. I'm not going to actually role play every line in this other language. But yeah, he's saying I'm telling her we are real. We just want to talk to her. And then you hear another shout back. There's definitely you hear a tension in the voice, just saying, "You're not going to trick me. I was fooled last time, and now look at me."
Can we actually look at her? Can we see her?
No, she's you're kind of around the corner, and you hadn't approached closer since she shouted at you.
You say, Dope, that sometimes they know common.
Yeah, sometimes they do. I mean, we could try.
I don't know what to say. Nirkina, you got something to say.
Don't believe we're real.
Yeah, I don't.
Fool.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
Let's see. You hear. Dream no help. Away. Leave.
All
And
right, that wasn't common.
that was in common. And Doak says, so I guess the answer is a little bit of common?
Yeah, well, her common's better than my giant. So where are you in there? I think. How do we prove we're real?
Ask where everyone else is. I think it'd be more she would be more comfortable in her native language.
Well, he says, maybe first, should I ask if we can come closer? Or what do you think? I mean, like I said, I don't know what her problem is. If she's the one we saw, I've never seen a stone giant look like that.
I mean, right now we're no more than a voice to her, so maybe seeing us in person close might help.
Do I have to touch for lesser restoration? Hold on. I think it's...
I'm going to have him say, we're going to come a little closer. Please don't attack us. We're just wanting to talk. And I'm going to have him actually make a persuasion roll for that. And he gets actually a 22 with that.
Ooh,
and so you hear just kind of a grunt that sounds like whatever. And he says, I think we can approach closer.
I think I understood that one word of giant.
All right. I don't know if lesser restorations... Let's see.
You think she's afflicted with something?
Well, her skin looks mottled, so I wonder if maybe she doesn't have some sort of disease.
So as you guys do approach and you kind of come around the corner, you can see that about 35 feet up, sitting on the roof of this sort of stone-built building, everything is sort of this red clay and gray stone pattern. Like there's both colors of bricks and they're almost in a mosaic, like not making a shape but just patterns. And sitting on the top of it, you get your first good look at this giant, and clearly this giant is not going to win any beauty contests, because in addition to the big hunch, one arm bigger than the other, the skin kind of unhealthy and sort of mottled, and the face looks distorted too, with one eye much bigger than the other, and it's just sort of generally a very ugly giant. And but just kind of sitting there with kind of a forlorn body language. And,
can I get close enough to touch her?
She's sitting up on this 35 foot
she's
high.
okay.
Yeah.
Is there any way for me to get up
And
there?
as you come around the corner, she says something in giant again, and Doak kind of says, she says that we're bad dreams.
I've been called a lot of things and a lot of bad dates, but that's not one of them. I hold up my hands in front of me. No weapons, obviously. I'm Alaric. I'm not a dream. Are you a dream? What's your name?
Name Granis.
It's nice to meet you, Granis. This is Doak. That's Nirakina and Otterkey. We have names. We're people. We're not dreams.
And she kind of just shakes her head and actually looks like she's tearing up a little bit and just kind of saying, all dreams. All dreams. And she starts actually just crying.
Are you ill? Nirakina here can help you.
Okay, I'll step forward, kind of hands out, and say, "You can touch me. I prove it. Not a dream. Touch."
She just, she kind of stands up where she is, says, dreams no help. And then turns and actually hops off on the other side of the building. And you hear receding footsteps.
No way. Ah, damn it.
I wonder if this... I could dispel magic if there's a magical effect. Magical affliction.
Yeah. How close do you have to get to her for that?
Oh, no. Actually, I don't have to need to touch her at all. It's 120 feet.
Oh. Can you see her? We run around the other side. Maybe you could see her.
Yeah. Try to run around the other side.
Are you you're gonna sprint around and try to get line of sight on her?
Yeah.
Okay. Make an athletics check, trying to, because she's seems like she's moving away, but not necessarily at the full sprint that she was at before. But you also need to move or try to go around the long way around these big buildings.
Sure.
So make an athletics check for that.
Athletics. 22.
Yeah, you manage to sprint around the corner and make it up to an alley where you see her receding into the distance. She's moving pretty fast compared to you, given that her legs are 3 times as long as yours. But she is within 120 feet currently, though moving away.
So, yeah, I'll try to cast it.
All right.
Spell magic.
So-
one creature.
Yeah.
Any spell 3rd level or lower on the target ends.
Okay. Yeah, you feel the spell discharged, and she does stop. Does not change physically at all, but she does stop and kind of turn around and look at you, and then run away again.
Did it work?
I think the rest of you may be
I don't
catching
think
up.
so. I don't think it was a spell.
It's worth a try.
But
She
now-
looks sick to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Doak says, yeah, most of the stone giants look like the statue did. You know, I mean, they're kind of tall. I mean, obviously tall, but I mean, like proportions. They're slender and kind of elongated a little bit. And then obviously big. But I've never. Yeah, something's definitely wrong. And she seemed upset too. I mean, in addition to calling us bad dreams, I mean, she's very upset about something.
Yeah. Confused, scared.
Look at this place.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see the roof? Like, did it look like parts of the roof fell
Yeah.
down?
Well, yeah. So basically, you actually in trying to pursue her, you're actually standing now near the part of the building that was crushed by this falling rubble. And as you look up, you can see where parts of the ceiling have just and there's actually a crack in the ceiling up there, and these rocks have definitely fallen and not been cleared away. And you see actually Doak starting to look like really unsettled by this, and he's kind of like, wow, I mean, it's one thing to just not see anybody. You could imagine that they're just somewhere else, but like,
There's a problem here.
yeah, I mean, the beacon's not lit. We should be able to hear the fountain from here. Where is everybody? The only one we see. Oh man.
The only one-
I want to like investigate the building, the rubble, and see if there's any like dead bodies. Something.
Yeah. So you're investigating the rubble, or are you going inside the building?
Try to
So
go inside.
Part of the building is crushed, but yeah, so going inside the intact part?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so as you are in there you see that it's laid out somewhat like an inn, in the sense that there's this big common room to begin with, and then there's a hallway that looks like it has a number of doors, and then a corresponding one on the other side that looks like it would be similar, except that's the part that has this cave-in. And in the common area, there's also what looks like a single back room that's behind sort of like a reception desk sort of counter. But it's definitely empty.
So there's no blood on the floor or anything.
People got out. They were evacuating. They knew something was happening. Doak,
Yeah?
I gotta ask you a question. It's gonna seem weird, maybe, but your friend Portent,
Yeah?
is she for real?
Well,
I mean, not that she physically was there. I gotta get that part. No.
yeah,
just-
no, I know what you mean. Her fortune telling, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated because, like, lots of times the stuff she predicts is kind of general and she doesn't put a timetable on it. So, like, she says you're going to see a blue tiefling, and, like, eventually you're going to see a blue tiefling. So was that the one she saw or not? Or I feel like there's something to it, but I don't know. I've never been able to, like, rely on it to use it to predict anything. It's more like you notice after you see something, like, oh yeah, she saw that, but like, so
Yeah.
I guess the answer is kind of. She's definitely got something, but it's never really been all that much use to her. Like, it's not useful. It's more like she sees things, and that doesn't let her predict anything until she sees the thing again, and is like, oh yeah, that's the thing I saw.
All right. All right.
What did she tell you anyway?
The rest isn't making any sense yet, although I got ideas about that. But the first part is stuck in my mind. When we saw that poor giant, the ugly giant, it made me think. The first thing she said was ugly ally. I think that's what it was.
Huh.
So I thought maybe...
Well, can't think of anything else that would fit. Except she doesn't seem like so much of an ally right now.
No. That's what I'm wondering. Is it supposed to make an ally out of her, or should come to our aid, or it's not even her? Maybe there's more of them that's twisted up like that. I don't know. Something to think about anyway.
What else did she predict?
Well, something about games. Games in the dark. Something like that.
Well, it's definitely dark in here without the beacon lit.
Yeah. I mean,
Have you guys ever played hide and seek?
for about 4 years.
Well, actually,
Doak
yesterday,
kind of just smiles like, yeah.
Well, maybe we need to seek.
Well, that might sound like...
And Archie, I was not talking about that kind of game.
He had his games in the dark last night, but she was not on it. That lantern, there's another reason I let you keep it. That was the last thing that she said. A door that needed light.
Huh. Well,
It's
yeah, a
probably
lantern
not-
seems like it would be helpful for that, I guess.
Yeah, but you can't read too much into these things.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I didn't just say yes, because she sees things, but it's hard to know what it was that she meant until after you've encountered it already.
Yeah. The worship of spirits isn't big around here, is it?
No, I mean, you deal with them like they're around, but it's not organized. I mean, they're like their nature, so it's kind of like if a thunderstorm blows through, you have to respect that that's happening because otherwise you get wet or get struck by lightning, right? So you deal with it, you work around it, and the spirits are kind of the same way.
Yeah. But some spirits are made of light, aren't they? I look more at Nirakina at that point.
There are definitely spirits that would their manifestations or their expressions would be light based.
Well, there can be, just as your spirit back home. What was his name? Father Igny's, like the
Yeah, I
well, and the spirit that we came across in the forge as well.
Yeah.
Things
But
of that nature.
It had a job, but it wasn't exactly happy. But if something was cooped up in the tower...
The magma
and then got
spirit was
free-
named Haraz.
Raz, yes. Actually, that sounds familiar, strangely enough. So some part of me still remembers these things. It's not the useful part. It's kind of like the predictions that Owen makes. I only recognize it once I've heard it.
All right. So right now, I think we have a couple choices. We can. The beacon needs to be relit. I think that would be helpful. We
I
can
could
go
see it.
after our friend.
Can you see it in the dark?
I
Doug?
can. Oh, don't.
Doak says, no, not really. Not when it's completely dark.
So you're going to need the light. Oddity, I forget. You
Well,
Yeah, I can.
Well, I can also do this, and he just he leans down and he just picks up just like a little stone, and then as he waves his hand over it, it begins to emit light like a torch. It's just glowing.
That'll be helpful.
Yeah,
But that lantern might also show us if anything else is running around down here.
right.
I think
On
we
that
should be
note,
careful.
Nira, with the highest passive perception, you hear what sounds like a little bit of a rustling sound coming from the room that's behind the reception counter.
It's rock rustlers.
Guys, I think there's something back there.
Where?
Somebody who is not carrying the rod. Want to go look? I can't move too quickly, so.
Sure. I'll take a look.
All right. As you are moving around the counter and peering into that room, what you see is an office, and there's like a human-sized desk and chair and some bookshelves that have some various papers on them, and then there's also a pile of it's a pile of red powder in a square shape against one wall, and there's it's about 6 inches deep and sort of just this mound of it, and then you see over behind the desk there's a small hole in one of the walls.
By the rocks, they really need to clean up around here. Come on, there's nobody here, but there's some powder and a pile of something.
And we're going to roll initiative.
I was just about to sacred flame the pile of probably flammable powder.
All right, so I didn't pre-draw a map for this room, but what I'm going to say is we've
Map
got,
drawing. It's like an
let's
improv
see.
sport.
Yeah. So so this is the desk and chair, This is the little hole. This I could use a red marker for the pile of powder just to indicate it. And we'll say that this is just a big room. This is the reception counter. So Alaric came in and was here, and the rest of you, I'll say, were kind of, following along. This is Doke, by the way. This is Doke's token right here.
It's a Doke. It's a Doken.
It's a Doken.
Hadouken!
Hadouken! So we'll say that the rest of this is a big enough room that I'm not going to draw all of the borders of it. And I have my red marker, so I'll use that to draw this little pile right here.
Maybe move the map down a little bit.
Yeah, I will just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have to re-aim the camera because I actually can't slide the mat any further.
There we go.
There we go. All right, so let's get those initiative scores.
17.
22.
All right, Archie?
4.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Then Doke gets 7.
Yeah, but he still beat me.
All right, and then your opponents get a 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say that the only thing that you see right now as we begin, Alaric, is where did I put these little? I made these tokens just today. Oh, I'm just dropping everything out. I have to find where I put them. There they are. You see emerge from that little hole a large bug-like creature, very similar coloring to the pile of red dust. Emerging from this hole, has big sort of feathery antenna, and you see one just sort of poking out of the hole right here. But I'll say that you all have heard scuttling from a couple of directions. So for your first turn, that's what's going on.
Bugs. Why did it have to be bugs?
Kill it with fire!
All right, you're up.
Oh, is it me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
With your 22 initiative, yes.
Does it look like a threatening bug?
It's big. It's hard to say. It's only just come out of that hole.
Okay. But it doesn't look like it's threatening.
I mean, it hasn't done anything but come out of the hole yet.
Because
It does seem to have noticed you.
It does?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it seems to have come out in response to you entering the room.
Okay. I don't have like an inherent dislike of bugs. Starlet's twitching, which is awful funny actually. So I will summon my crossbow to my hand,
All right.
and I'm going to hold my shot if it makes
Okay.
an aggressive action.
All right.
Move back towards the door.
Okay. And moving back like to here, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of like there's a bug. I don't know if that's bad, but there's a bug. Do they have big bugs like they have big people?
Doug's kind of like, I don't know.
Thanks, Doke.
And so it is actually the bug's turn now. So this first one, what it does is it actually does start coming towards you. It's not like a charge, but it's definitely moving in your direction with its little feathery antenna going like it's
Does it look ugly?
It's inspecting you. It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, see, that's why.
And so it is coming towards you. It doesn't seem like a full charge, but more like a curious investigation.
Okay.
But
Hey
it
there,
is
bug.
coming all the way to you.
Hey, bug.
Is that trigger your...
No, it's
No?
not being aggressive. It's just moving towards me.
Okay, well, it's going to be aggressive here in a second.
Okay, well, at that point it would.
At this point, it reaches out to touch your crossbow. No,
Oh.
let's see. Doesn't touch. What armor are you wearing right now?
I just got that studded leather.
Right, yeah. It reaches out with its antenna and kind of brushes it over your shoulder. And you notice that where it touched, the studs on your leather, the metal studs, have just corroded and rusted almost in seconds.
Have I heard of these things?
Make an intelligence check.
It's not
With
much
advantage,
chance,
because these are underground things that dwarves might know about.
but- So I rolled a 19 on the first die, so 21.
Yeah. These are rust monsters, and they're basically able to corrode metal, ferrous, non-magical ferrous metal things.
Ah, crap. I know what this is. Back up.
I'm
I
going to
will try
say,
to shoot it.
mechanically speaking, this first attempt on your studded leather armor is not going to have the AC effect, because it's
Right.
not full metal.
Luckily, it just becomes leather if the studs go away.
Yeah. That said, as you are sort of backing away, scuttling sounds from behind all of you guys, as two more of these things are going to rush straight at Archie.
Do I get
Whoa,
my,
let's go into the building. Let's check it out. Let's
Do I get
not
my,
go
uh,
after the stone giant
health
that needs
shot?
our help.
do I get my held shot?
Well, yeah. So if you do now, if once it touches, that would trigger it, then yes.
And I realize what it is, basically. That
Yeah.
This is not just an ugly bug. It's a dangerous thing.
Right, yeah.
Crap. With disadvantage, not a chance. But yeah, the bolt just goes off on the side somewhere.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to say these other two coming from the holes that they were emerging from are just scuttling in right now. They're not yet where they're touching anybody. So that will be their turn for this round, because they're still just investigating exciting new smells.
Hey, I had a bath 2 days ago.
Okay, Nira, you're up.
Oh my god, I hate bugs so much. I'm going to use. What am I going to use? I don't have. Why do I not have fire? How tall is this desk here? This counter?
This is human scale, so it's about 4 feet tall.
Okay, and how tall is the bug?
The bug that's behind the desk for you, I would say you don't have line of sight on that one, but you do this one.
Okay, so they're not as tall as the desk. Could
No.
they get on top of the desk? Do they
They're
have
big enough they could probably climb over the desk, but they're not visible when they're standing on the floor. They're not visible behind it.
Crap. Okay.
They are medium-sized bugs, in the mechanical sense. Like
Okay.
you guys are medium, they are medium. They're
Okay, I'm going to use. What am I going to use? I'm going to use. I will use probably guiding bolt because I like it.
all right.
It's not
on
fire,
this one
but-
that you can see here.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make that roll.
And that is a. What is that? A plus what? Why does it not say? Why is that? That's an attack spell,
yeah,
right?
it's an attack spell. Yep,
Okay, so that's a +7. Okay, so then that's a 19.
that hits.
Alright. And that is a 46. And it is glitter bombed. So it is 6, 9, 12.
Okay. Yeah, so you you reach out your hand and a streak of glowing energy streaks out from across to this bug, striking it, and it sort of twitches and flops over on like one side for a second before scrambling back up, but now glowing with the divine magical aura.
So gross. Kill it dead.
All right, it is actually Doke's turn now, and he says, "Oh, so we're killing them then? All right." And he is going to. I think he's going to cast Chaos Bolt.
Ooh.
And let's see. So he's making a ranged spell attack against this same one. And that's a 24 to hit. That's a pretty high roll. And so what that does is he summons this bolt of energy, and now I roll 2d8 to see what kind of damage it is. Let's see. That's a 2 and an 8. So basically, well, let's see. Hang on. Oh, I see. I picked. So it is going to be 10. It's going to be 14 total damage, and now I roll a d8 to see that it is lightning damage. This weird bolt of energy that doesn't really look like anything at first, but then as it starts to coalesce, it turns into this little shot of lightning and does 14 damage to this one, and it looks very very wounded and very rough right now, but not completely taken out. It's starting to steam at its joints, and it makes a little noise, but it's still moving. Okay, that was Doke's turn. Archie, you're up.
I will use a bonus action, cast Shield of Faith on Doke.
Okay.
So that'll give him a +2 to his armor class.
All right.
And I guess I would try to jump up on top of this counter.
All right. Ba-dum.
Ba-dump. And I think, there's a little bit of distance involved, so I'm going to use my, javelins. I haven't used javelins in a long time. I'm going to throw javelins at him. At the one that hasn't been touched yet on the other side of the counter.
This one? All right.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
going to toss a javelin at that guy. And do a 18.
Yep, 18 hits.
That's 1d6. 10 points of javelin pointy damage. And that worked. So I'll do another one. Another 18.
All right. Still hits.
And 8 points of damage.
Someone call Terminix. Yep. Yeah, so your javelins have torn off part of its armor plating on its rear end. It's definitely oozing from those wounds, but it is still active. All right, Alaric, you're up.
Stupid rust beasts. I stomp on it.
Okay, are you making an unarmed strike?
I am.
All right.
14 to hit.
14 is exactly what you need.
Damage is 4, because that's all it'll ever be. I stomp on it again. Oof, that's only a 9 to hit.
Okay, 9 is a miss, unfortunately.
That's sufficient for my plans as I go out the door and run around the corner.
Okay. So, it's going to get an opportunity attack.
No, will not. Because I have fancy footwork.
Right. All right. Where are you running to?
So 3 more to the right and just around the corner.
Like that?
Right there.
All right. Okay.
Watch out, these are rust beasts.
Did say
bugs, something or other.
I don't like that sound.
Yep.
So, don't let them hit your metal.
All right. It comes out and its big feathery antenna brush over you, Nira, just whipping around, and your mithril chain is going to partially corrode, losing another +1 to your or
Does that count as
another one from your AC.
Does that count as a melee attack?
No. Well,
No?
okay. I'm gonna say it does.
It touched me, so I would.
You're not. Yeah, I'll allow that it does. It's not strictly speaking an attack in the traditional sense, but if you're, I know what you want to do, so I'll say that works. Yes.
You're panic.
Yeah, you're wrathful, whatever. What is it
Wrath
called?
of the Storm.
Wrath of the
Yes.
Storm. Okay, yeah, that. So it makes a saving throw or something.
I
think it does.
See. Dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Gets an 18.
Jesus. Okay, well, it still takes half damage.
All right.
2d8. So it's 10, so it takes 5
Okay.
of lightning damage.
All right.
Does that mean it gets blown back?
Yeah, I think because you have that thing, right? Where
Yeah, Thunderbolt Strike. When I deal lightning damage to a large or smaller creature, you also push it up to 10 feet away from you.
all right, is that what you do?
Yes!
You push it, so you it brushes against you and it goes flies back right to where Alaric had just tried to run away from it.
It's chasing me.
All right, Archie, you get the sense that both of these things smell a lot of metal on you. So they're actually both gonna come up and brush their antenna over you. So you're gonna take. So it is worn or carried. It takes a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty from each.
Wow.
You can. I'll allow you in this case to determine whether it is happening on your armor or your shield.
The shield's magical.
The shield is magical, so in that context.
Oh, it takes it from the shield. Oh, wait.
No. So it doesn't. It can't do non-magical, but they're only brushing off what they can smell that they can eat. So.
Right.
So
That
it
makes
is both
sense.
on your armor, unfortunately. But that's all that they do this turn.
So,
Okay, that's the Rust Monster's turn. Nira, you're up.
Okay. The one that's mostly dead, I'm gonna go for that one.
Okay.
That we've hit twice already.
That's this one.
Yeah. And I am going to use... What am I going to use?
It's really weak right now.
Really weak. Okay. Do I go for Sacred Flame or do you use Guiding Bolt again? I'm going to go for... Yeah, sure, Guiding Bolt.
All right.
Use that one again. Call it machine again. I gotta stop clicking away. Okay. That is a +7. Okay. So that is a 14, actually.
14 is exactly what you needed.
Alright, and that is 46.
Oh, and technically you would be rolling at advantage because it was still guiding bolted from the last time.
Well, but what's his face hit it? Doke hit it already.
Yeah, okay, so I guess he should have rolled at advantage. So you're right.
Yeah. 15.
Yeah. This thing is reduced to powder. It just explodes and it's just like just the glitter remains.
Get rid of them all!
All right, that's your turn. Doke is kind of like, I'm glad I'm wearing magic armor and don't use metal weapons right now. But he is actually going to, in that note, he is going to try to, let's see. Yeah, okay. He is going to cast Scorching Ray on this one that's going after Archie right now. And he's sending all 3 bolts at it.
Ooh.
So that's 3. That's a 20, not natural. 23. Oh, and a 10. So one of these rays goes wild, but 2 bright rays of scorching heat energy zip right by you on your left, Archie, and strike this thing in front of you here. And they're going to do how much each? 2d6
20.
fire each. Okay. That's 9 for the first one, and 9 for the second one.
Ooh.
And that is actually 9 for the first one kills it. Because that's the one that you had hit with your javelins.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I'll allow that he you know what? No, because Nira's in the way. So I'm going to say that he is unfortunately not able to aim the other ray at the other one. So, but he does kill this one. And it is reduced to ash. And then his other 2 rays, shoot out into the, into the distance. And he kind of goes like, I hate wasting the rays. All right, so that was Doke's turn. Archie, you're up. There's only just the one left, and it looks like it was just knocked back from Nira.
I've got 2 javelins left, so I'm going to throw them both at opponent.
All right.
The first one is 25.
All right, 25 hits, yeah.
And does 8 points of damage. And the second one, is 9.
Yeah, 9 misses, unfortunately. Javelin clatters against the stone.
And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of this thing, since they can clearly jump on. And back away.
Just jumping that way, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving, like, just staying over there?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Alaric, you're up. This thing just got blasted backwards to where you can sort of see it around the corner now.
Keeps following me. Suddenly I remember I'm a rogue, so I disengage. And I will move around to the other side of the counter.
Okay.
As a ball of fury energy forms in my hand.
Okay.
And I will use chromatic orb.
Okay.
With fire. Fire.
Fire.
Right, let's see if I can hit this thing. No, I got an 8.
Oh no. Is chromatic orb the one that stays around? Or no, that's flaming sphere I'm thinking.
That's flaming sphere. No, this is just
okay.
the one-off. It's clattering and booming across the way.
I know, unfortunately.
Am I... do I have any movement left? How much do I move?
Well, let's see. You were here, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
So I'm about as far away as I can get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, that makes it the rust monster's turn. And it is knocked back from Nira in a way that I think has it confused. It doesn't understand what happened. Yeah. So I think it is actually going to... it's going to try to scuttle away and back into its hole, I think.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it.
40 feet. 5, 10, 15. 20.
It moved through your attack range.
You're right. Yeah, so you can get an opportunity attack as it's trying to scuttle back into its hole.
You want to hit it with something metal.
Does that includes spells, right?
Well, I mean,
Only if you have
an
the
opportunity
Warcaster.
attack is only a simple melee attack unless you have Warcaster feet.
I do not have anything not metal, as far as I know.
I mean, you could make an unarmed strike.
I don't want to touch it.
Or you could hit it with your Warhammer.
Isn't that metal?
It
Won't
is.
that won't it damage the warhammer?
Maybe.
Probably.
I don't want to damage my warhammer.
I'm just telling you what your options are. Otherwise, it's
Well-
going to zoom on by.
You know, I think as it does that, I'm gonna back the hell away.
All right. It gets just to the entrance of its hole on its turn. It is your turn now.
Okay, oldie but goodie, sacred flame.
All right. Makes it
I have
stick.
not used Toll the Dead, and that was tempting, but
Toll the Dead is you don't get to switch out cantrips, you know.
well, no, but I got to add one when I leveled up.
You're right.
I got another
okay,
cantrip,
Okay. Yeah. All right.
and that was the one that I picked.
We were saying earlier that you couldn't do mending right now to Doak, but
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't realize. I knew it was a thing. I didn't know it was a.
all right. It rolls a natural one on its dexterity saving throw. So I think it actually, in its panic, it bumps into the side of its hole and flips over on its back, and it's like ah. And then sacred flame incinerates.
2d8.
Well,
And
okay, I
so-
guess technically you roll the damage before I say that it's incinerated.
Yeah, so that's an 11.
Okay, yeah, it's incinerated.
Kill it with fire. We just need to burn this whole place down.
Yeah. All right, you have dispatched the rust monsters that had come out to investigate your presence.
So, do I know anything about when infestations of rust monsters come in?
You know that they're typically speaking not that common in areas that are frequently, active. Like they
Right.
tend to creep into areas that are, don't have a lot of activity in them, and get stuff that have been left behind.
Which it looks like they did with that pile of red in the corner.
Yeah. But you also know it's fairly rare to have them this close to the surface too.
Yeah.
They're usually from much deeper underground.
Well, this place has definitely been abandoned for a while, or at least people have been away from all this stuff. You're gonna have to keep an eye out though, because those things would be nasty.
Yeah, suck.
Otterkey, can you put like a cloak on or something, or put a blanket over your stuff? Because you kind of look like a shiny beacon right now, at least to them. You always look like a shiny beacon to me.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
next
I've
time.
got a traveling cloak if you think it'll do any good.
At least it might make it
Right.
harder for them to hit you.
Maybe next time we just see the red powder and know to stay away.
Yeah.
It all kind of happened in a flash.
Given your familiarity with these things, Alaric, I'll let you make an intelligence check right now.
Oh, dear. Oh, well, okay, that's not terrible. I mean, it's right in the middle, quite literally. 12.
You know that the evidence you would typically have of rust monsters being in the area is piles of rust left behind where something metal used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Are Otterkey's sticks, javelins still around? They're wood on one end, right?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
What are they? Yeah, they're wood. Yeah, I actually am not sure what they are.
Yeah.
They
My
might have a metal
assumption is
tip on
wood.
them, but at least one of them
Yeah.
missed. I want to use the wood end anyway and poke through that pile that was left behind in case it was something that wasn't quite metal. Indigestion.
It doesn't actually say, but I think that it makes sense that the javelins would have a metal tip.
Yeah.
So I think what you would find is that those 4 javelins, although they are recoverable, the tip is now partially corroded, and is now going to be a -1 to the damage that you would do with it.
Okay.
I'm going to use the wooden tip of one of them just to
All right.
poke through that
Poke
pile
through
of
that.
red ashes.
Yeah. All right. Where's my notes for that one? Okay. Yes, you find, having poked through it, that this probably used to be a safe, because you see a couple of copper springs and things that might have been part of a lock, or maybe brass, not copper, for springs probably. But what you find in there is 38 platinum coins, 48 gold, and a fancy looking dagger. Let me describe this dagger for you.
It's clearly made of wood.
Well, the dagger is actually looks to have been made from the tooth of a very large creature. Because it is dagger sized, but it is made from something that has teeth the size of a dagger. And so there's leather wrapped around like the root of it to make it an effective dagger, but it's clearly made from an enormous tooth.
Huh. Any papers?
No, not in the pile, but there's papers on like the bookshelves and stuff.
Take a quick perusal of those.
Make an investigation check.
17?
Did you show the stuff in there to everybody else?
Yeah. There was some money in here. We'll keep a hold of it and see whoever owned this place can get it back.
Yeah. Doke's eyes go wide when he sees the dagger, and he says, "That's a dragon tooth dagger."
Oh.
That's
Well, that would be big
awesome.
enough.
He's definitely he's not being possessive about it, but he definitely wants to see it and examine it.
Sure.
Your 17 investigation check for the books and stuff.
Yes.
They do seem to be like trading ledgers and guest records. And none of the entries seem to be any more recent than about 3.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's all still pointing to that. All right.
What happened here?
It's like everybody just vanished.
Wait, how? Okay, so it's been so long that we've been playing this.
You do actually find a note towards the end of one of the entries that says something about try to convince the Thane to keep the business deals in effect. It's like someone wrote a note to themselves.
Can I ask how long have we been on this adventure now since we came out of the cave into the since the
since
original
emerging from the temple?
Yeah.
It's sometimes these things get a little fuzzy, right? But it's been a few weeks, I would say.
Okay, so that timing lines up. We don't have a map to see if there's a purple dot either. Dang.
You do know that you have, when you got close to rifts before, you tended to sort of feel it in your scar, and you don't currently feel anything. But you also had to be relatively close.
Right. So I'm gonna kind of pull Archie to the side and say, hey, so timing wise, think about how long we've been traveling together. I mean, minus the 100 years. And then about when the time the stone giants here went silent. What we're looking at here. Kind of a curious coincidence.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point.
So, just something to keep in mind as we go forward.
Yeah.
Hey, Doke. You mind flickering on that lantern just for a second or two and swinging around the room?
He lights it and then kind of peers it around the room. It doesn't seem to eliminate anything unexpected.
Okay. Go ahead and put it out. Just had a thought. Maybe there was a small hidden space somewhere here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like it could be possible. And he's very distracted by how cool he thinks this dagger is. But he also kind of says, but I don't really use daggers. But it's very... just because, I have, a special affinity for dragons, but, if someone else wanted to use it...
Well, it's definitely a fancy dagger. Somebody's going to be missing it if they don't, if they're still around.
Well, if it was in a safe or something, yeah.
Oh, Alaric, do you still have like you use throwing daggers, right?
Yeah, I picked up a bunch.
I'm gonna I'm gonna take off my ring of truthiness and I'm gonna look around because it sees through illusions. So we're not talking about invisibility, really.
Right.
So
You don't see any illusions in here.
okay. I'm getting out of this room because it creeps me out.
All right. Yeah. So you make your way back out of the office. Are you still in the visitor center or?
I think we should go after the stone giant.
We have some sense of which way she went to.
Well, I mean, Archie saw where she was running when he tried to cast Dispel Magic on her.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Down the street that way. I guess
Doak says, we're right by the fountain and the beacon tower. We could check those before going after her. Whatever you guys think.
the beacon.
Right now, so you guys just emerged from the building at number 2 right here. 3 is where she was sitting on the roof, but 5 is the fountain and 6 is the tower. So they're just right there.
I thought there were 7 and 8, so.
No.
Well, show us this fountain and tower, and maybe we can turn the tower back on.
The fountain is really cool, but like usually you can hear it from here, the water moving. But and as you kind of move around and you go around to where you can see it, you can see first of all there's an very ornate, central sort of statue carving that is knocked over and tilted sideways. The water is not only stagnant, but it's dark and murky looking, and you can actually see a few bubbles slowly kind of bloop, 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 from one spot. And as you get close, it smells like some sort of a fume. Like
Nope.
And Doak sees it again, and he's just like, that statue, like this fountain, they said it's been here for 500 years.
Yeah, well, this is a once in a lifetime that something happened here.
And he kind of leans down to just kind of try to get a little bit of a smell of this fume. And he's like, "Ooh, yeah, couldn't breathe that stuff. I don't know what it is, but it's maybe is it coming from underground?"
Probably. Yeah, whatever it was, the well that was tapped into must have gotten corrupted. That happens sometimes, underground wells. Rust monsters. Yeah, this place is all but abandoned. What's that tower looking like?
Well, the tower is intact, but it's also it's very tall. It would be essentially 3 stories, giant scale. Mm-hmm. So considered to be about a 9 or 10 story building for your normal expectation, and the peak has openings all around that could be like a lighthouse. And Doak points out and says, usually there's a really bright light coming from the top of this tower, and it's out now, which is kind of par for the course. You wouldn't know that. It's like it's just it's not it's pretty much in keeping with everything else we're seeing here.
Yeah, dwarves love golf. It's all about knocking rocks into holes. Maybe we can get it lit up again. Do you have any idea how it works?
I've never been up inside. It's outsiders aren't allowed to go in there and mess with it.
Well, there's nobody here to stop us.
I don't think so.
We can try to see if something makes sense.
So if you head to the base of the tower, there is a door there that's ajar, open, not locked, and the stairs go to climb it, and these stairs are like 3 feet tall. So it's you can get up them, but it's certainly not easy going.
Is it easier to climb the outside than the stairs?
Well, I think you can get up multiple 3-foot steps. Mm-hmm. It's just not, it's more of like a climb than stepping up them.
Otter King, do you mind if I hold on to this stick of yours?
Sure. Yeah.
The point's kind of busted anyway, and if they're going to be facing any more of those rust monsters, I'd rather have something I can poke them with rather than my foot.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You also know, Alaric, that they can't get magical metal rust monsters.
Yeah, I got a little bit of that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're making the climb on these stairs then?
Yeah.
All of you together?
Yeah.
All right. So you make your way up, and I have another map for the top there. Let me get that. So as you climb your way to the top, the tower itself is pretty basic. It's not, there's nothing unusual in its design. It seems to literally just be a tower designed to get you up to the top. So it's just spiral stairs going around, even though
We've still got the overlay up.
Yeah, it's an exact
I know. I
replica
haven't.
Okay, cool.
I haven't
of the map.
I will do that. Who's first going up the stairs?
I'm pretty bold.
I've still got the stone rod here, so I'm not going first.
All right. So I mean, Doke's probably not leading the way, but is he? Are you letting him take up the rear, or? So Alaric first.
Yeah, I'd say Alaric, Doke, me, and Archie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need Doke to be fairly close to the beginning, the front, to tell me if there's something important.
Yeah.
Like a sign in Giant that says, "Don't step on this step."
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this to where. So, as you emerge into the top level after the difficult climbing, so this is these stairs, and it's now ascending to this level. What you see is a large frame with sort of a reflecting focus that is obviously intended to have something sit in there, and you suspect a likely thing to have once sat in there is the enormous broken crystal that is now shattered on the floor.
Does it look like it was purposely broken or fell over?
Make an investigation check.
Natural 20.
You see the frame that it was in. There's no way for it to fall out by accident. It would have had to be removed by someone strong enough to pull it out. And then it looks like a pretty sturdy crystal, and to smash it on the ground would also not just be a matter of dropping it. Something with strength would have needed to do it.
Hey, Doke, you can mend things, right?
Yes, but if it was magic, it won't necessarily fix the magic. I can make it all one piece again.
Would it be easier to, how can we lift these things at all?
These things,
pieces?
yeah, I mean, they're big and heavy, but it's relative. These pieces are probably, 25 pounds or something like that.
Can I call upon my dwarven stone cunning and try to figure out what kind of stone this is, or what kind of crystal?
Yes. Go ahead and make a intelligence, I guess? Or
I don't know.
intelligence with proficiency. How about that?
That is a 22.
Yes, you know that this is a particular kind of crystal that is useful because it tends to be extremely, clear. And if you can get a big piece that has no flaws in it, it's really useful for making all sorts of optical things like lenses and that sort of thing. This is a really big piece. It would be pretty rare to find a flawless piece this big. But typically speaking, they don't give off light. If it would, if this was what gave off light before, it would have had to be enchanted to do so.
I slapped Doak on the shoulder. Oh, it looks like it's your lucky day. I think you can not only fix this, you can at least for a little while light up this tower. That might do something. Might tell people that it's not all lost.
All right. He's like, yeah, okay. So as he is approaching it, are there any of the rest of, what are the rest of you doing?
Bracing.
To help him, probably too heavy for him too.
Yeah, but I'm gonna climb up in there and see what's going on.
My wisdom of 8. I can do this. Should I do this? I don't know.
All right. One moment, I forgot what page this thing's on. No, that wasn't it. Where's my note? I have it. I wrote down what page it was on somewhere here. No. There it is.
Page XX. Where all the
Okay.
good stuff is.
All right. So, I am rolling a stealth check for a thing. So tell me where everybody is. Are you all kind of maybe just standing around Doak as you...
No, I'm gonna stay right there where I was at. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm on the other side of the crystal from him.
All right.
Because I figure he probably can't hold it on his own.
All right. So I think, who does everybody? It rolled really shitty on its stealth roll. Does everyone have passive perception of 11 or higher?
Oh yeah.
No, mine's only 9.
Okay.
Really?
Well.
Really?
Yeah, I saw
That's
it.
the blinders in your suit you should probably take off.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, Doak's is only 10. So
Gee.
Doak and Archie are gonna be surprised.
We're just really focused on this crystal.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll initiative here again, and what was happening is first, I'm not gonna fix it on the drawing right now, but Doak does cast mending and is able to restore this crystal into one piece, and
See?
he is, and he's very excited about this, and he is preparing to kind of lift it, maybe with Alaric's help or all of you
Yeah.
kind of helping, maybe. To kind of try to get it back in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then, where's my... I have to get the actual token for this thing now.
See, I wasn't wrong. I said we could fix it, mend it, and that'll probably have something happen.
Yeah. Something's definitely happening.
Oh, come on, where's my token for this thing? Oh. Alright, hang on. For some reason in my brain, I was expecting you to go somewhere else first. That, I mean, I don't have any good reason to have thought that. It's just now I don't have your token ready, the token for this thing ready. Oh no! Come on, where
Players
is it?
going left when the GM thinks right? Are you kidding? Only every game.
Why did I? Okay, I'm annoyed with myself now because I thought I had all of these ready in this spot for pulling it, but I know where it is. 1 second, there's a thing that's going to attack you guys. It's going to be really cool. It's
Oh my god, it's a giant chicken. Quick, tame it and ride it.
yeah. So go ahead and roll initiative, everybody, if you didn't already.
18.
Oh,
I'll need you to tell me again when I can write it down in a second. Where is this?
Swear to God, if it's another bug, I'm out.
Well, got bad news for you.
Oh no!
You know what? I cannot find it. That is
Is it going to look remarkably like the rust monsters, only not actual rust monsters?
Well, I had a token for it. No, I can't find it. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna. I know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use one of my patented drawing on the back of some things. All right.
It's almost like Amethyst is here.
Not excited about this.
All right.
Uh,
That is
that's
our
a happy
little.
bug.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so Nira, extra creeped out by remembering the other bugs from before. You are primed to hear the scrabbling of more insectile type movement. And then emerging from sort of the rafters of this area, you see something in the ceiling. And Alaric, you also notice it. Archie and Doak do not. So they're going to be surprised in this first round. And I'm going to describe it more in just a second. But Nira got 18, is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Archie?
9.
Okay. Alaric?
19.
Okay, and then Doak got an 18. And then I put the book down because I'm looking for the token. Alright. This is in a different book, so I don't have it on D&D Beyond. But this is what the token should look like.
Duh. Ooh. Okay, that is kind of disgusting.
Oh, God.
Well, for that matter, I can also do this.
Oh, there you
No, no.
Yeah,
go. Ooh,
yeah.
that looks particularly angry.
So, what you actually see about it is that in addition to its enormous sort of, spiny legs and mouth pincers, it also has this weird, bloated, translucent sort of belly that has a bunch of weird little spherical things floating around in it.
Oh, God. I want to leave now.
Is there a window?
Well, that's always an option. Yes. In fact, what I'll say is that these little areas with blue hatching does seem to be like glass, and the black is where it's solid wall, and then this area right here is completely open. And it's about 80 feet down outside. And then this thing is going to roll its initiative now, and it rolls 11. Okay. Alaric, you're first.
All right.
This thing looks super mean. I don't think there's any question about it, like the rust with the rust monster.
Well, there was a lot of dust in the air. I couldn't recognize it when it got too close. Like, oh my God, damn it.
Well, it
these
also
things.
didn't immediately look hostile. This, if you could
This
read
does.
insect body language, it would be saying, lunch!
Lunch. Okay. Okay.
And I'll note that it's about 15 feet off the ground right here at
Oh,
the
it
moment,
is?
because it's emerging like from the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Then I will. Let's see. Yeah, let's go for once again some energy flowing from the hand. Let's try this chromatic orb one more time.
All right.
Entirely on it. I will, since it looks angry, I will cast it at second level.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't help me hit it at all. Natural 20.
All right. That's
Holy crap, that's a good
crit.
time.
That'll hit. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to do, let me see. I'll do fire damage because, oh wait, no, it was glowing from the within, right?
Not glowing, but like translucent.
Okay. Translucent. I'll do acid damage.
All right.
That feels better. And that is 48. Ooh, I don't even have 48. This is exciting.
Gotta
Nice.
love those crits, right?
Oh, that's crazy. And that's really bad rolls. 26 damage.
26.
And then I'm going to run around the other side of the big red partial circle there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my dash bonus and my normal movement to move all the way around.
Okay. Where are you trying to go?
I'm going to try to go very close to it.
Okay.
I'm going that way as opposed to the other way, so it sees me as a target.
All right. Like that?
That seems good.
Okay.
Oh, did we
right.
lose a...
Starla's got her camera off. Is that maybe? I don't know. She's still in the call, I think.
It's all about the bug, I think. She just lost it now.
Yeah, maybe.
She did say she
But
was
yeah,
out of
so
here.
you shoot out this orb of hissing green energy that strikes into this thing, splashes over it, and drips away from it, and it sort of squeals and kind of cringes from that. But it definitely took that damage for sure. Okay, Nira, you are up. Are you still with us?
She's turned into a pumpkin. It's after midnight here.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, I think she is paralyzed with fear of her fear of insects. So I think she will perhaps hold her turn in the initiative for the moment. Oh wait, we got a. Oh no, that's smart. Yeah. Well, so hopefully she'll be back in a moment. But in the meantime, Nira is paralyzed with her discomfort of not wanting to do anything about this bug and maybe just run away. So it's going to see you as the nearest target that also just attacked it, Alaric. So I think it's going to drop down off the ceiling onto you. And it's going to make 2 claw attacks and 1 bite attack.
Okay.
Let's see. So it drops down onto you. And that's a 13.
Okay, that's a miss.
And then that's a 24.
That's a hit.
Yeah. So,
And she's dropped off the call now.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully we can get her back.
We're going to meet her soon.
Well, and we're also running late enough that it might just be time to end on a cliffhanger. But I think so. This first claw attack, though, is going to be. So the first one misses, but the second one is going to do. 13 piercing damage. And then the bite, it's going to try to bite you, and that's going to be a 15.
Not enough.
All right, so it snaps at you with these enormous, spiky, mouth claws. Pedipalps, is that what those are? Little spidery.
It sounds disgusting.
And it looks really gross, and it's going for your face for sure, but you're able to sort of jerk your head away and avoid the worst of it. So that is its turn. And that will end the surprise round that Archie and Doak didn't get to act on. So it's actually you're up again, Alaric.
No, okay.
Did you say Mira would have sacred flamed it? Since I think it's a cantrip.
Looks like she's coming back.
Yeah, maybe. So we can. Sacred. I'll allow that she might have done sacred flame. So
kill it with fire.
Yeah.
This thing is super crazy agile, and it actually gets a 28 on its dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Right on.
Right. Yeah, this thing springs around like a flea. Boing, 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 boing. It's very fast.
It's
Welcome
a
back.
very large flea.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, my internet just died. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
sure. We
So,
know you ran away from the bug.
We had you use Sacred Flame on this bug, but it has now dropped off the ceiling and clawed at Alaric, and it tried to get him. It nabbed him with one of its claws, but missed with its bite and its other claw. But we're back up at the top of the initiative order, past the surprise round now. So, Alaric, you are up.
Yes. Ooh, hey. I have. Oh, there's things happening finally. I pull out the short sword I just bought,
Yeah?
and I stab it.
Okay.
And because of my rakish audacity, I will get my sneak attack damage
If you
if
hit
I
it.
hit the thing. Holy crap! I rolled 15.
Nope.
Well, I tried again.
Your short sword glances off of its chitinous armor.
I can stab it again. That is a 18.
18 hits.
Ah, yay! Sneak attack damage. Ooh. 16. 16 with the short sword.
Okay. 16.
And I move away.
You've done some significant damage to it already. So you disengage and move away. How far?
I just move away because I have the other thing, fancy footwork. Because I
Right.
attacked it with melee.
Yeah, but you use that to disengage. Or no, the fancy footwork
Nope.
is a different thing, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I attacked it. So
Okay,
I move
how-
away 25, so as far as I can get first, and then I will use my bonus to
1, 2,
dash
3, 4.
to get all the way over towards the one more,
Okay.
I think. So exact opposite there. Perfect.
All right. Nira, you used Sacred Flame on it, and it was crazy fast. And got away.
Okay, well, I am going to use Shatter,
All right.
Oh,
and that is a Constitution saving throw
Okay.
for it.
It rolled an 8.
That does not do it. So that is a 3d8. And that is a 8, 9,
what is the red thing that's there?
14.
This is this big lens
Reflector.
reflector that looks like it's designed to focus the light from the beacon in a specific way.
Okay. Can she aim the shatter at the wall then? That's a 10-foot radius.
I think-
14.
14?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, so this shattering, rings out this shattering sound, and it definitely sort of cringes as it takes this pummeling damage. But yes, the part of this big reflector is broken.
You can fix
Sorry.
it. You can fix it. We have a Mr. Fix It.
That's intended to be the broken pieces.
Oh
of
my
that.
god, it's bleeding.
Okay. So that was your turn. Are you moving or anything? You only just barely
no.
have line of sight on it. I'm saying right
No,
now.
I'm staying where I'm at.
All right. Okay. It is Doke's turn, and he is sort of wide-eyed, like, "Wait, what's happening? I didn't. What? And so he. He's seeing how fast it is, and he is going to try to cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp on it. So he is going to try to make a stone fist emerge from the ground right here to try to grab it. And it makes a strength saving throw. And it gets a 17, which is too good for him, unfortunately. So I think, yeah, it does. Nothing happens if it beats it. No half damage or anything. So the hand remains there. There's an earthen hand right there that stays there, but it was unable to grab the thing, the bug. The Horak is what it's called. Okay, so that was his turn. but the hand remains. Okay, it is the Horak's turn then, again now, and it is going to, it's gonna, it's going to go after the last thing that hurt it. It's jumping on you. All right, it's gonna make 2 claw attacks and a bite attack.
Damn it.
That's a 24
No.
and a 16. Do those both hit?
Yeah, because I have damaged armor.
Yeah.
But I also have Wrath of the Storm.
Trying to think how we would need to resolve that. So I mean, I think so. Its speed is 40, and it only 5, 10, 5, 10, 15, 20. So it's only moved 20 so far, and its first attack was a hit, and so I'm gonna roll the damage for that. And rolled high. That's going to be 23 piercing damage.
Oh.
Are you using Wrath of the Storm for that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So it rolls a dexterity saving throw.
Click on that again.
It's really
Yes.
good at those.
Well done.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Well, it rolls a 23.
Well, it still takes half damage. Which is not going to be much. 5.
Okay. So it does take 5, and it's pushed back.
Yup.
All right, so it's pushed back 10, but it still has 20 feet of movement and more attacks, and it's coming right back at you. So I rolled its second claw attack already. I'm going to say, though, normally it has this ability where if it hits you with both claw attacks, you are grappled, but because you were able to push it away in between, the second attack hits, so you're going to take the damage, but you're not grappled. Which you're glad of, believe me.
Well, I still have one more.
Oh, man.
No,
Roll high
I don't
again.
like that. I don't like it when she says that.
That's another 21 piercing damage. And now it's going to try to bite you.
Can I use Wrath of the Storm again on that? Since it hit me? I have one more.
You get one reaction.
Yeah, okay. And I was going to have it bite you, and yes, I will allow it. And I had already rolled the die but had not announced it. That bite was going to be a crit, but I will say that you used the Wrath of the Storm. And it rolled a natural 1 on its dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
So you're going to use your last Wrath of the Storm?
Yes.
All right. So how much does it take this time with the full amount?
10 this time.
Okay. All right, and it's pushed back again, and it doesn't
Yes.
have another 20 feet of another 10 feet of movement this time. So,
Wow. Yo.
yeah, you're trust me, you're glad that you didn't stay grappled. Okay. Or take that critical bite for that matter. Okay. Okay, that was its turn. Archie, you're up. This thing is just torn near half to shreds.
No doubt. So I am going to use my bonus action to cast Compelled Duel on it. So it's going to make a Wisdom saving throw
Okay.
versus DC 16.
15.
Ooh.
Alright, so
Ah,
basically it'll get disadvantage if it tries to attack anything but me.
yeah.
And
You
is
can see
compelled
its
to,
attention is suddenly magically drawn to you.
It's drawn to me. Compelled by my divine demand.
All right. Is that your whole turn, or how does? I
No,
don't
so that's
remember.
bonus action.
Okay.
And then I will move to engage with my sword attacks.
Your sword.
Yeesh.
All right, make those sword
We'll make
attacks.
one swordy sword, which is a 1.
Ooh, no, that
So-
one doesn't work.
Crit fail.
Yeah,
Can't get that sword
Whoa.
started.
But the second one is a 20.
that'll hit.
Not natural, but
hmm
8. 9 points of damage. And I already used my bonus action,
Yep.
so I cannot juice it up.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
We're
that's
good.
your turn.
Ish.
Alaric, you're up.
Okay. Now that thing in the center, is that basically blocking the center of
This
it, or
is the frame where the crystal would go, and so it doesn't take up the whole room, but it's about 6 feet tall.
okay? But I could say throw daggers through that.
Yeah, like this area is like a frame, so a lot of it is open.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like a column, this central part, and then this is like different, pieces that extend out to hold the reflector, but it's not solid.
Okay. Do I need to move it all then to throw daggers at it to get a
You can
better
throw
line
those
of sight?
daggers. I think you're to be not at disadvantage. You have to be within 20 feet, but you could move. 5,
Oh
10,
yeah, that's right
15.
there, short range.
I think you have to move 5 feet closer.
Yeah. Okay. So I can. I'll dip in there.
All right.
A bit closer
Okay.
and whip a couple of daggers. And hey, Archie's right there. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Otterkeys are standing right there.
By the way, I'm assuming because we didn't ever establish otherwise, I'm assuming that Doak still has the dragon tooth dagger.
Yeah. He told me
Okay.
not to.
Yep.
I bought all those extra throwing daggers. That is a 22 to hit.
22 hits. Yeah.
Ooh, ooh. I can't believe it. This is like the second time I get to use sneak attack.
Yeah.
That is 16 damage.
Yeah. This thing's taken some significant injury by this point.
That is our hope, our only goal in life. And I whip a second dagger at it.
All right.
21 to hit
It's
for 8 points of damage.
all right. Okay. Nira.
All right. I am going to get. I'm going to use Guardian of Faith.
Okay. I don't have my sitting token from the last time, but you know what? Nira, Amethyst's pink lion is your guardian of faith. where are you putting it?
Let's see. What is the range? Hold on. Within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time. Okay. I think if I put it like right where the center of the crystal would be, like the frame, because it's like a spectral thing, right? It doesn't actually have. Yeah, I put it there.
Okay. So how does that attack work the first time, or?
It says the Guardian occupies a space as indistinct. Any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn must succeed on a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 20 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
Right. Okay. So it on its turn, it would do that.
Right.
Okay.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to use Healing Word on myself.
Not a bad idea.
Which is probably not going to give me much, but... where are you? Healing Word. So 1d4 plus 3.
All right.
7.
Okay. It's Doak's turn again. He's going to try to have the hand grab the thing, the Harak again, so it makes another strength saving throw. Oh. And this time, it only gets a 9. And so the hand grabs it, and it's going to take 2d6 bludgeoning damage and is restrained.
Woohoo!
All right. Takes 10 bludgeoning damage and it is restrained. So to break it out, it needs to make another strength check, and so it's actually its turn right now. But this hand is like holding it still, so it actually can't. It could continue to attack Archie at disadvantage because it's restrained, or try to break free, which I think is what it would try to do at this point.
So if it's its turn, does that mean it takes the damage from the Guardian of Faith?
Yes. Well, it's going to make its dexterity saving throw.
At disadvantage because it's restrained.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, that's still a 19.
Oh, wow.
Well, it takes 10 then.
Yeah. Okay, so it takes 10, and now it's going to try to make a strength saving throw to get away from this hand. It gets a 6. It stays restrained. Yeah, so it's in a bad situation right now. So Archie, this thing is now held fast in front of you, so your attacks against it have advantage.
Batter up. I will swing, bada. All right, so first one is 26 to hit.
Yeah, it'll do it.
And with that one, I will do just a regular 8. 14 points of damage.
Okay.
And the other one's a 22 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Does 8 points of damage, which I will juice up a little bit. Trying to say, wait,
into the blade.
Which one? Oh, we want to do. How about a branding smite, which is
It's
11
looking
points.
really rough now, by the way.
11 points of radiant damage.
Okay. It is extremely injured. It's on its last legs. Still restrained. Okay, Alaric.
Awesome.
This thing's extremely wounded now. All attacks against it have advantage. It's because it's restrained by this giant stone hand.
Well, I still have a few daggers left, so I'm going to whip a dagger at it. Oh, man, 2 12s, really? A total of 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
But that is sneak attack. Woot. Oh, wow. Wow. 11 points.
That still kills it.
Oh.
So, how does this thing meet its end?
I hesitate for a second, holding the dagger in between my fingers, balancing it. I'm quite impressed. These are the ones I bought from Scritcher. I'm going to have to go get some more. And then I just whip it, just as his
you
blood
bought the
comes
blades
back.
from
From Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did buy the little harness for them from Scritcher.
I bought the harness from Scritcher, so both of them are involved here.
Team effort.
And whipping it just as he brings his successful sword strike back, right that little opening he's left behind, the dagger kind of flies in, squeezing its brainstem.
Yep. And it twitches, flops limp, still held within this stone fist, and you have destroyed the Horak. And I think in that, with that moment of victory, is probably a good time to go ahead and call it a close for tonight. But what I'll, just because it's fun and kind of gross, and I don't think you'll fight another one of these soon, I'll let you know that if it hits on both claw attacks, it grapples you. And if it hits with the bite attack when you're grappled, it bites out one of your eyes.
No!
Wow.
That was, you were very close, Mira, to losing one of your eyes to this thing.
That's not okay.
Versus bugs, and then it's eye devouring bugs.
And literally, if not for your ability that uses lightning damage to knock things back, that's what would have happened.
God.
You would have also
What's the,
taken another 4d8 plus 4
Yeah.
piercing damage.
What's the challenge rating on that?
It's relatively high. It's
See, we ended up defeating it because we brought Amethyst with us, sort of.
Right. In
yeah,
spirit.
the fact it's actually fairly strong. So the fact that it not only got caught by the hand once, but then failed to escape it is lucky on your part. That's some dice rolls there, because it's got a +4 to strength, and it only had to beat a 14, but it failed that twice in a row. Where was this? Okay, it's a CR9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you guys defeated it. Well done. Thanks to some teamwork. And yeah, well done.
Good job, Drokara.
And so the he says, "Thanks. I really like that one. I've been working on it. It's cool, right?"
Very cool.
I mean, he makes the hand wave at you guys. But I think we'll leave it there, and the furthering the mystery of what happened to the stone giants will have to wait until next week. But we'll be back for more adventure on
So many levels.